seriously, pitch meeting is such a good way to watch movies. It really is. Like it's I know I have a whole thing about never going to the theater. I may never just watch a movie anymore. I may just watch a pitch meeting and that'll be the end of it. It's great. He summarizes so perfectly and he brings up you know what, between him and what's his name? What's her name's Honest Trailer. There you go. Just watch
Oh
Honest
yeah,
Trailer and pitch meeting. You never need to go to a theater ever again. I mean, you can go for like,
yeah.
less known movies, but But anyway, before we get to that, let's get the drinkings out of the way. You know what? I'm gonna selfishly start. I'm drinking a Guinness again. I'm keeping it
Go for
simple.
it.
There you go,
Yeah,
Guinness.
Guinness is good. Guinness
So
is
it's
good.
a safe,
I
safe bet.
I
We'll
traveled
go to.
halfway around the world and enjoyed a
Oh,
Guinness. So
mine's backwards.
Wow, Kevin, just storm right in there with
It's
whatever the heck. Sweet. What is it? Sweet.
I was waiting for you to
Nestlé
finish. It's Founder's Sweet Repute.
You didn't wait for me to finish. You shoved your
Founders is
beer in my
good.
face. Oh, it's a Founder's beer.
That's just video. I didn't talk over you. Jesus.
And I am enjoying
How
a
dare you
Sloop
steal my
Brewing
spotlight?
Look Twice and Head West. It's a West Coast style double IPA.
Oh, that's right. I always forget. Jerry's beers
It's
always come with like
a dual IPA beer.
Yeah, I got it. There's always your beer always comes with like backstory and lore, and
Yeah.
Yes.
back when the dragons roamed the earth, a lonely man found some yeast. Yeah. Anyway, I forgot where I was going with all that.
Yeah. You could keep your yeast to yourself.
It's probably for the best. So, get the usual. Sorry we weren't here last week. I forget what happened. One of us had a thing, probably me, but might have been somebody else. I don't remember. So
Pretty sure
we're
it was
back now.
me.
It's only been like a couple weeks. We're actually holding. Okay, all right. So you got to make it about you again. We have a pretty good like track record this year. I think we've done more than one episode a month. That's way better than any other year we've had. Especially that one year when we did none.
Yeah, well,
However,
COVID,
I can't even
so we
remember.
couldn't all be in the same room together, right?
What's
that's
pretty
right.
funny
Which
is I'll
is
go.
what we are right now. We are in the same room right now. It's
We
hard to
are.
tell, but like, yeah. Here's me petting Kevin. Here we go, Kevin.
Wait, is it gonna be the right side?
Oh, here, why don't
I'm
There
not
we go,
close
there we go.
enough to the
Yeah, there we
edge. That's
I,
fucking stupid.
Interactive podcasting. There we go. That was totally believable. Go us. But yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, go on. However, I will warn that we're once again slowly with like every episode creeping into the too long area again. We were good for a while as well. We were keeping them like around like a couple hours. I think the last one was like 3.5 hours.
Yeah,
Because we were just arguing. Because we were arguing about a book. So
I mean, but you could never have too much of a good thing, right?
but I'm talking about our podcast right now. So anyway, speaking of our podcast, who wants to go first? It's funny, we had an empty like list and now it's filled with things that people obviously want to discuss. Actually, okay, let's talk about.
I want to pause. I want to pause the normal train and do a slight tangent. We keep like saying shit about our own podcast. We're like traumatizing all our users, and like brainwashing them to hate us. So we should like have a positive, uplifting type of like our amazing podcast.
That's why we have a nice closing thought at the end of every podcast. We give people good advice. I think
the Sucky
last
podcast with some good final advice.
Yeah, with some positive. Stick around, you might learn something. There's a good message at the end. I think last time I told people not to do meth. That's always a positive thing.
Good. I had it on my calendar for like the Wednesday after to do meth, but then you said that, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to do meth. Skippy says I should do it.
Changing the world one Jerry at a time. There you go.
Yep.
You're welcome. Yeah, America.
Jesus.
So,
that's so funny that you say that because my mind immediately thought of the creator that I just saw yesterday.
Oh, I thought you were going to say because
you saw our Lord Baby Jesus, 8 pounds, 6 ounces, Baby Jesus, our creator.
No, I love this movie is a sci-fi movie, like in 2065 with AIs and all this other stuff.
Wait, so does this movie? Wait, this movie says that we're still around in 2065. AI has
Yeah,
not destroyed us
yeah.
yet. Oh,
No,
good for
no,
them.
but there's a war between humans and AI, which basically America attacking Asia. It's kind of funny.
Wait,
Not
wait,
funny.
wait, wait.
So
Hold on.
the A in
Is the
AI
Asian?
stands for Asia.
Oh no, we went to war with
No,
Asian. We went to war with the Asian
no,
intelligence.
no. There's I forgot what so in 2065 the the movie calls it New Asia or something like that. So it's like a changed naming convention for Asia, New Asia, something like that.
Neo Tokyo was
It's
taken or
not like
something.
that, but I think it's like the collective of Asian countries, um, as if like everything conglomerated or something. But definitely the movie paints America as like, let's say, the bad guy, and the
I
AI
wonder why.
race
We've
or
never given
faction or
anyone
species, I
reason.
should say species. Um,
Americans are a species. That's cool.
no, the AIs are in the movie. They're like robots,
The
basically.
the Asians are a species. I'm so
No,
confused what's happening right now.
AI.
The
So what it is AI gets like banned in the West, and
okay.
the East countries embrace it like a new species on the planet because they believe that the AI is like a sentient race,
Oh, I see.
whereas
Okay.
the West thinks it's like, the evil devil, and it doesn't matter what country you're in. If you're harboring, terrorist AIs, we're gonna hunt you down. It's actually that kind of a thing. So
That's
dumb down the
America
current
would never do that.
that's true.
dumb down the current political, you know, uh,
Hmm.
mode of Earth. You just say West and East, right? It's essentially
Gotcha.
that. And
Gotcha.
East is AI friendly, West is like anti, AI terrorists. So it's crazy American, awesome tech. Actually, it's pretty fucking amazing watching it because you're like, oh shit, that actually could be done.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
and it was, still pretty scary. Um, but like the AIs have like a special weapon and blah blah blah, and by the end of it, you definitely get a sense. The tie-in to what you were previously saying is that America is essentially sort of the more barbaric one, let's put it that way, and
Right.
the new conglomerate that's AIs and humans, which is the new Asian, like just East,
Right.
is like a new society.
Okay.
And it's a sort of, it's actually kind of cool because how I'm always saying like, our benevolent AI overlord type of like I can't wait situation.
Well, you have to say that the AI is listening, so of
Right.
course.
But
So
in this
it's
it's
just
kind of
like
neat because it treats them as like a just another species on the planet that's like worth, human rights, let's say, but there's AI and human rights. It's sort of treat it like a alien race.
so it's not like they're all knowing, all powerful. It's not that kind of AI. It's just I'm a different kind of sentience AI.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
it's
not like
like
the all encompassing, I know, I could figure out how to create a rocket from, the two twigs and gum kind of AI. It's,
No,
hi, I'm
it's not the
it's
Sally.
MacGyver AI. Okay.
it's the way it's depicted in the movie is let's say all kinds of generations worth of robot designs, from like a simple, you know, camera on a rotating like square head versus, the newer generation of people donating their likeness in image to an AI. And like, so now there's an AI running around with like your face, but you know, it's an honor in that society because like you're giving AI sort of like an ability. Some AI gets born and or made or whatever and gets to wear a human face and sort of interact in a more friendly or whatever way, but in that society, it doesn't matter. It's like, think about Star Wars, where the alien races are just intermixed. There's no,
Right.
Oh, okay.
essentially, there's no racism, right? So that's what AIs are, is like a totally different kind of
So they don't have like a
species
class
made out of.
system within the AI community of any kind?
No, nope, not really. I mean, they're almost. Oop, did you? I thought we lost the
There's
video.
there's no like, oh, your grandma was a speak and spell kind of,
No, no. But like it's not important. Like the movie doesn't dive into the society that much. You sort of see it happening in front of you. It's what I'm
Right.
describing is trying to describe pieces of the movie back, like the setting. But anyway, the whole thing is about a war between East and West, and uh, basically the American like uber uh, military ship, which like floats in orbit, drops nukes and all kinds of shit wherever it wants, is like the.
Wait, so the US is dropping nukes on an Asian country?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow, this movie's very on the nose. Okay, I got it.
huh?
Holy
Well,
crap. Holy crap.
what's funny is, well, I'd have to give away a piece of the movie to get into
Yeah,
like the
don't,
whole
don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
geopolitical environment.
It
But the
sounds
takeaway
interesting.
was, if you're talking about antagonists and protagonists, right?
Right.
America is like essentially nudged as being the bad guy, but it's actually America. It's like typical America. But
Right.
in the contrast of this movie, they're the sort of more brutal geopolitical governing body versus like the all accepting, like, can't we all be friends people, which is
Gotcha.
which is
Okay.
funny to put it in a light that lines it up with, like, America and Asia.
Right. Basically, in 45 years, nothing will change. Okay. All right.
Mhm.
All right. Yeah. No, I definitely want to see it. It does look pretty
Well,
cool.
no, it sounds like we'll have bigger kill sticks.
Dude, where
And
the
a ship
it's
in
actually
space.
really fucking awesome. Like, and I
and
mean, like, holy shit, that's scary, scary fucking technology. Military
Well,
technology.
first of all, if it's in space, you don't need military technology. You don't need anything.
Oh
If
no,
you're
wait till you
launching
see
shit
the
from
tanks.
space, no, no,
No,
I'm saying if
yeah,
you're
I know.
launching shit through from space, you take like a fucking steel bar the size of a telephone pole or
Yeah,
something,
a
and
Thor
you
shot.
launch that
Uh-huh.
at Earth. It's a relativistic kill missile. It's got
Yeah.
so much kinetic energy.
Well, yeah, but you're not gonna watch a movie about some guy on the ISS station slowly like rolling a window down and like throwing like a rock at the Earth. Go to
No,
got him.
these are the I understand what you're saying, but it's all robotics. Like, it's a small cruise ballistic missile. It's one of those
Mhm.
kind of, so it's not like it shoots straight down, literally. It it goes from, from orbit. It has a huge radius of theater and can
Mhm.
like target anywhere, even though it kind of lasers down in a straight line, whatever. It looks
You-
pretty
you-
fucking cool in terms of like sci-fi effects and
It
technology
sounds
Yeah.
stuff.
cool. I'll have to watch it. What was it on?
So it's currently rent only, and I did
Uh,
it on Amazon, but it was like five ninety
gotcha.
nine.
Just
You could
order
buy
a
it
bunch of
too,
shit
but
on Amazon. Wait an extra week to get it, and
yeah,
you
Yeah,
get those
the digital
credits.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and you
probably got
get
like
a free movie.
$40 worth of that shit this season.
Gotcha.
that's funny because I probably have a balance, and when you're on the TV, I don't know how to select it.
I think it does it automatically. At least it does for me. I don't know if it
Hopefully,
does for you. Yeah. All right, so that's a good one to watch. You also mentioned none of us have seen the new the Godzilla movie, the -1. Is that what it's called?
I think so. I haven't seen it
Yeah,
yet. I want to go see it.
yeah, I want to see it too. I haven't. I have not heard a single thing besides utter praise for it. So I'm
Yeah.
actually really excited. Like
Well,
everybody's saying, it's not just a good Godzilla movie; it's just an amazing movie in general. So
in
That's
the
pretty
world
cool.
of foreign films, it's actually doing well in terms of box office
Yeah,
tickets
they're
sold.
expanding the amount of theaters that are playing it because it's breaking all kinds of records, like
Hmm.
outside of its original market. So, and it
Yeah.
costs
That's
like
impressive.
it's incredible because it's supposed to be visually a very like awesome movie, but it has a tiny budget. So weird. I don't, they always do that with the Godzilla movies because they have so many, I guess, practical effects or whatever it is they do on maybe unknown actors. I don't know, but
Guy
oh,
in a rubber suit.
yeah, the budget on the Godzilla movie is like a fraction. Like pick like an indie
But I think
movie
it's
that
this
the
one
U.S.
looks
makes
good,
it
right?
business. Yeah, it looks it's supposed to look incredible, but it costs very well. It's still tens of millions of dollars, but you compare it to some of the budgets that we have here. Like you take like a shitty recent movie like from Marvel, those cost 200 what like the Marvels cost like $250 million to make. Godzilla cost something like 30 or something like that.
I
That's
have a
that's pretty
sense
insane.
that part of that large cost is like in American dollars because all of the resources, high-end audiovisual labs and all the stuff and like the actors, like everyone gets paid exorbitant amounts, so the cost is way high in the US market. But
Maybe.
elsewhere, the market could just be a lower level, and so the cost is like similar output based on, it's like technology, but it's like it just is different. Is that
It
like in
also
effect, or
Yeah, I think if that was the case, they would just outsource all their visual effects anyway, and send it to wherever these other cheap digital effect places are coming from.
Yeah,
well,
CGI is apparently one of the biggest drivers of cost, by the way. CGI is
yeah, big time.
incredibly expensive. Yeah, but you're right. Like the Godzilla movie it's not a guy in a rubber suit, but they do use a lot of practical effects. Like, what was that name of that movie? Mad Max Fury Road looks incredible, but it wasn't that expensive. It didn't have that big of a budget because it's all practical special effects with just a little bit of CGI tweaking. So but like Marvel shoots like all their stuff on like a green screen basically, like
Yeah,
and
and
building
it's
all
like
Yeah.
these
all
worlds
CGI.
and yeah, it's incredibly expensive, which is so weird because you think like they have the money, why wouldn't they like their CGI at this point? That seems to be one of their Achilles heel. People are saying that like oh, excuse me, their CGI artists are overworked and underpaid, and in the last few movies, they've been criticized heavily for having shitty CGI. You think they'd fall back more on practical stuff, which is cheaper, but instead they're leaning more and more into CGI, and their movies look progressively worse and worse and cost more. So I don't really understand what the strategy there is.
Mm.
Yeah, but but you know what? They're gonna save some money down the long road. You know why? Because they
Because
just
no one.
fired a guy. Because they just fired a guy, so they're good. Yeah, that came out of nowhere. Kevin, I don't know if you saw, but um, the oh God, what is his name? Of course, I forget his name. 2 seconds before I'm gonna go talk about him.
Yeah, it was
Uh, Majors. I know
Kang.
his last.
Yeah, Jonathan
Oh, he's
Majors.
out.
Thank you. Yeah, the yes, the actor who played Kang is gone. That's it. He was found guilty on 2 counts of what is it, abuse and
Yeah,
harassment.
Yeah,
And basically, Marvel was obviously just waiting for that to be handed down.
yeah,
The second that ruling came out, they're like, okay, he's fired.
yeah.
yeah.
So he's so
He's now going to be playing the part of he who remains in jail.
yes,
So fucking Jesus.
I would laugh if that was in the fourth time you've made that joke tonight.
But not on this podcast.
That is true. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All
So
right.
yeah.
Yeah. Also, he's not going to remain in jail. He's gonna.
No, of
He's
course.
gonna. They're saying he may get up to a year in jail, which means he's gonna get nothing. But oh, I do have to say that. Okay, I'm not defending the guy. I'm really not. But like, look what Ezra Miller did. Ezra Miller got a slap on the. Ezra Miller basically got away with it. He got nothing, and long after like
It's
we've
because
everything was known about him. He was on the red carpet promoting his stupid Flash movie. Meanwhile,
that's
Majors.
because he works for DC.
Oh,
What
I'm
does
sorry. I
that
thought it was
mean?
racism, but yeah, I think that's really weird. I think the fact that that Ezra Miller just completely got away with his shit and still. The fact that the thing that ended his career was, or ended his, I should say, his role probably with DC is the fact that the movie tanked terribly. But the thing with Majors is that as soon as like this verdict was handed down, that like it okay, how should I put this again? I'm not trying to defend the guy. I'm just saying like he is a very talented actor. It's a shame that he turned out to be that kind of person, or it's a shame that this chapter in his life is not basically closed because of how he acted. Because
Mhm.
the guy had a very promising career. Like
He he was a good actor, but he was not a good person. I like,
right.
did you hear
That's what I
some of
mean.
the
No,
video,
no,
the
no. That's what I'm
recordings
saying.
and stuff? And yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's a when I say it's a shame, I'm saying it's a waste of a really good acting ability on a
Acting, yeah.
terrible person. Yeah.
I get
Uh,
that. I get that.
he basically
And
like he hockey sticked in 2023, and his career just like soared, and then just like
right.
that, that's it. He's done. Yeah,
Yeah.
he may have a comeback in a
A
few
little too
years,
much ego or
possible.
something.
Yeah, but I mean, like, why is this worth it? Like, just because you have to be, all tough and I don't know. It's just like, wow, you threw away an amazing career. He was all set with Marvel. Like was effectively printing money for
Right.
himself, and then I don't know. It's like I know it was more domestic abuse, but like just like keep it in your pants and don't be a dick. Be a good
Right.
person, and then
It
you'll
is rem-
have all the shit that you want.
it is remarkably hard to ask people to be good people lately. It just doesn't seem to
Ugh,
resonate very well.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
It is. So I don't know what Marvel's going to do now. There are a couple of options. They had an option to recast him. They had an option to their backup plan was to go in a different direction with a Doctor Doom plot,
Right.
which is what they might up doing. I think they should just recast him. Honestly, like everyone is saying, like, dude, the whole point is that Kang could really be anybody. Just recast
Right.
him.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't there
Uh,
a
Yeah.
version of MCU, not MCU, like Marvel, where Doctor Doom is a version of Kang?
yes, we mentioned that last
Yes,
Oh,
time.
that's
okay.
been
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought what you just
yeah,
said now
yeah.
bypassed that.
Yeah, no,
Like the Doctor
we
Doom
that's
is
not.
sort of a viable option to sort of Kang forward.
There is, but again, or they could just recast them as and keep Kang. The reason people think they're gonna go more likely to go with the whole Doom thing is because if you there's like some official Marvel calendar or something like that. The name of the next movie was supposed to be like Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. They got rid
Yeah.
of the Kang from the title. It's just called like Avengers 5 or something. So this
Oh,
is why people
really?
think that they got rid of the Kang thing. So we'll see. I don't know.
Oh, that's so interesting. It's funny because it could have been, I guess they totally assume that name is associated with that actor instead of doing like a Doctor Doom movie that's a different actor, right? And then at
Yeah.
the end, one of the big reveals in like the after credits would be like he's a version of Kang because he goes back to like the end of time,
Yeah.
and you see he's the multiplicity, and like they could actually write it in a very easy way by doing like a Doctor Doom lead in and he's
Yeah.
Kang and then continue with the Kang dynasty without it
Yeah.
being like, oh, that one movie, it happened, the movie's out there. I mean, they're not gonna cancel, like totally shut off the movie.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
uh
No, 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 yeah.
and it'll just be that version. It'll be just another multiverse.
Yeah, and I mean Loki set it up pretty well where they could do exactly that.
Oh,
Like
totally.
that show could have been a complete reset for the whole Kang storyline. So
Yeah, Loki 3 could totally do a situation where like they prune the last of the
Kevin,
that faced kind.
Kevin,
What?
here, let me pat you on the head as I gently explain this to you. Look, Kevin. To the
Loki's done.
look, Kevin. No, never mind. Yeah, there is no more Loki. Okay,
Yeah, I know.
Loki's done. That's
I know.
it. There will be no Loki 3. There will be no Loki 4. There certainly will not be a
But there
Loki 5.
is a TVA
There,
searching
yeah,
for
I mean,
Kangs
supposedly.
in the
I don't know.
background.
We'll see what
I mean,
Owen. We'll see.
that's just like in the background. What time did
Yeah,
that happen? Is that way in the future after all of the Marvel MCU, or is it like right now?
I don't know. I wish at this
These
point
are
it's not even that I
questions
do.
that everyone wants to know.
No, that's the thing. I don't think anybody cares anymore. I really think people have lost interest. I don't think anyone gives a shit.
All right.
Like
So what's next?
next is we'll start watching DCU movies. Oh, next is Rebel Moon, by the way. I'm sorry, that's totally I
Oh.
forgot to put that on the list.
I
Rebel
just saw
Moon, I
it.
don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that has like it's okay. It went up from 9% to like 22% on Rotten Tomatoes. So
Ooh,
Rotten
that's like
Tomatoes.
like 100 over 150% jump.
I will say this though, even Rotten Tomatoes admitted that they actually deleted some of the critics reviews because they said that a bunch of the reviews were clearly written by people who just like hate Zack Snyder and they just want it like a bunch of the reviews are
Uh,
written. They have a tone of like like, oh, Zack Snyder's at it again with his movies and his fans and his toxic blah blah blah. And it's like what they barely even mention the movie. So I think this is one of those cases where critic reviews really, I mean, they really don't ever matter, but in this case, I think they matter somehow even less. Like
mhm.
I definitely can't wait to see it. So I
When
mean,
is
we'll
it
see. It
supposed to
maybe
come
sucks.
out?
In like 4 days, I think it's on Netflix.
Oh. Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I look, it might suck. I don't know, but I happen to be a fan of Zack Snyder. I don't. I prefer not to think myself as one of his so-called toxic fans. I just like the dude. I like his movies. Sorry. I just want to see his movies. Can I see more
I
of him?
mean,
Thank
if
you.
you think about it, you're not gonna have to wait for a Snyder cut.
Actually, you will have to wait for a Snyder cut because
Dude,
there
of
is a
course they're going to market that.
there is no they already said that. That's actually one of the reasons they said that like anyway, it messed
That's
up some of the
modern.
marketing stuff.
That's,
He already he's
modern marketing academia 101.
Yeah, he said there will be a longer and more, and then it'll be a longer and R-rated version of this movie. But he did justify.
Oh,
He
this
said,
is
"Look,
a PG
I think it's
13
PG-13."
movie.
Yeah,
Okay.
he said, "I wanted to make a movie that like everyone could watch. You could watch with like your kids, or you could watch, like as a family. But I also wanted to make a version that was like the movie that I really wanted to make, and that'll
Oh,
be
yeah,
like,
no, I
You know
totally
what's
get
funny?
that.
I
yeah,
actually like it that it's him doing it. Like, in other words, he's taking ownership of the idea of I want to present it two ways. That's actually, now that I think about it, it's creative because it's him. Like his cut, he created a brand for himself is my point,
I
right? He
can't
wants
I can't decide if I like this idea or not because I don't know. On one hand, I guess I like that if that's truly how he's thinking, that he could make a movie that everyone could see. But on the other hand, it's almost a little bit like if you look at movies as and are some kind of artistic expression, they could be like, dude, just make the movie you want to make. Like to deal with the consequences if some groups of people can't see or
no,
don't want to
but
see a
no, but what
movie.
does it say about
But
a
but
director that can overlay the same movie with extra content, right? And the extra content elevates it to R
right.
because it's
That's
interwoven in
easy
such a
enough to
way.
do.
But
You
he's
think
not.
so?
But the thing is, he's
Dude,
not just making it more
put a
violent.
couple
It's
of
not like there's. It's not like
F-bombs and, like, a
yeah.
couple of headshots, and it's rated R.
The rated
That
the
means
R rating
nothing.
is not the thing that I have an issue with. If he just said, "Okay, we're gonna make a version where we don't Photoshop out the blood, and yeah, there's a bunch more f bombs, but it's also going to be a longer version, which means there's parts in it that aren't in the initial release." So it's like, well, why did you have to take all that out then?
No, but
Like,
I think it's still I don't know. It seems like a if let's if the intent is to I don't know, it seems kind of impressive to me. That's my point. Like
it is. I'm not.
you can
I'm just
fuck up
talking
a
through it.
movie
Yeah.
to have, a scene. It's not like you can just add an R type of scene for whatever reason, you're gonna stretch it out percentage longer. It's like 3 hours long at that point. You still have to have a movie that's good with all that extra content. It's not just for the gratuitous R rating. What I mean is
Maybe.
now it's a long, he could almost storyboard the whole thing, but weave in and out of it. I mean, theoretically, he writes his whole thing, but he can weave in and out in a way where he knows how to clip out scenes that are for the R audience, but still have a cohesive. That to me is how a writer would or a director would like storyboard that. So that sounds to me like a pretty cool way to like double meaning a story told.
So it
So like
depends.
that's how I'm imagining it, and that sounds like a cool thing.
You might be right. Like I said, I'm just talking through it. I'm not strictly against it. The reason I'm a little nervous about it is because, um, so I'm assuming you've seen Watchmen, right?
Yeah.
The Watchmen movie that he made.
Hmm.
The
So I love.
movie? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I love that movie.
Oh yeah, that was a great
In
movie.
but there is a director's cut of Watchmen where he added a bunch of scenes that weren't in the original theatrical release,
Hmm.
and those scenes are hot shit. They are terrible. They don't add anything to the movie. In fact, they possibly detract from it. And I'm a little nervous that he might do the same thing here.
But
Now,
I think
that's
isn't that canon though? And so the thing about it was he kept um the harder parts of canon out of, let's say, the regular movie, but he kept them in for like the hardcore fan. I thought
no,
that's
I
what
think it
that
was
was
the
about.
opposite.
You
No, it
think
was
he
a little bit of
added
the
those
opposite.
just to be gratuitous?
Well, I've seen the things he added. No, they weren't gratuitous. They
Yeah.
were just dumb. They were really dumb. That was him trying to be, um, I can't. He was trying to be a little artistic by adding those things, or he was trying to be a little deep. There's literally a scene in The Watchmen that he adds. I forget where it goes, where he added the same moment that was in the Batman versus Superman movie. The whole like, why did you say that name, Martha? Like he has this weird thing about people having similar names. He added a scene into Watchmen that had like the same exact thing, where two people find this strange connection just because they have like the same name or something like that. It scene had absolutely nothing to do with the plot, and it didn't even involve the main characters. But it's like a 20-minute sequence with two
Oh.
inconsequential
I don't
characters that
even
are just
remember it.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
funny.
I don't know if you've
I
you
don't
might
know
not
if
have ever
I
seen the
don't think
I
I've
thought
director's
I
ever
cut.
did
seen the
see it.
director's cut.
I thought I've seen the
Yeah,
director's cut.
yeah, he added a few things to it that just were they added absolutely nothing to the movie. So I'm hoping that's not the case here. But again, I'm sort of just like I, like it's not here nor there. Like I want to. I'm definitely going to watch both versions. I think it would have been funny if he made the real movie that was going to be released later, and then instead for this one he brought in Joss Whedon to do the PG-13
The
version.
short.
Yeah,
That's fucking
and just
hilarious. Wow, that
and
could
just see
go.
how that goes.
Oh, you know what? That could get a lot of positive, like marketing, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I'm sure those two guys love each other.
But how
That's
funny if they
funny.
could like decide to do that. Like that would be fucking
It'd be very
hilariously
meta. It
amazing.
would be very meta. It would be
Right,
pretty
right,
meta. It would be
right,
pretty cool. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So we'll see. Sorry that was kind of like a tangent of mine. The other thing I'm really looking forward to. I'm glad you added it, Jerry's. Did not think I would have any interest in this, but now that I've seen the trailers, I am dying to see Echo. That looks legitimately awesome. Again, they made it like a nice, mature, violent movie where
Mhm.
people get bones broken and blood squirting and daredevils
I haven't
kicking
watched
and
the trailer
flipping.
yet. I'm like trying to go
Oh,
in as solo as possible. You can tell, you can talk. I am not bothered by that, but like,
I, I,
I don't
I
even
just
know what
spoiled the
it's gonna
entire
look
trailer for
like.
you. Well, you know the character Echo, right? Did you
Yeah,
watch?
yeah.
Or she was in Hawkeye, right? Yeah,
Yeah. Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
No,
She was in Hawkeye. Yes, Hawkeye. Yeah, she was one of the antagonists in Hawkeye.
Mhm.
The
no,
deaf
not
mute
Hawkeye.
woman.
It's the
Yeah, Hawkeye.
Oh, is it Hawkeye? Okay.
Yes, it was
Sorry, I'm
Hawkeye.
forgetting it.
It took
Yeah.
place in New York City,
Yeah,
and she was at the very end of it when she shot. No,
yeah,
no, no, not. But go on. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
yeah. She
thinking
shot Jessica.
of the female character, and I forgot her name.
She was a female character.
Are you thinking of Black Widow?
He's
No,
thinking of
no,
Black
no, no.
Widow's sister. You think of her sister? Ivana Ivanovich something? I forget what her name was.
No, definitely Hawkeye. All right, whatever.
Echo was the
Yeah.
antagonist in it who was trying to kill um uh oh my god. Okay, so there was a period during the the snap thing where everybody was gone for 5 years. Remember when Hawkeye lost his mind and he became what was the name of the persona he took on?
Ronan.
Damn it. Yeah,
Ronan.
Ronan.
Ronan, right. So she thought that Ronan killed her father and a bunch of other people that she knew. So she had this whole thing about finding Ronan and killing him, and she was looking for him. So that's how she tied in. She's deaf mute and she's got a prosthetic. One of her legs is prosthetic. Um, so at the very
Oh, I
end,
see what's going on now. Never mind. No,
yeah,
go on.
yeah, it's called representation. Anyway, so um, yeah, yeah. So at the end of Hawkeye, she finds out that it was actually Fisk that was responsible for her father's death. So she shoots him, but then he also gets hit by like a car. I forget a lot about Hawkeye, but though it sets up
So do I.
basically a conflict between her and Fisk, and that's where the show picks up. So there's gonna be flashbacks where they show like when she was a little girl, how he found her, how he recruited her, and the affection he had for her. There's a weird like Thanos Gamora thing going on there, and
Mhm.
then
Yeah,
and then
definitely.
and then she grows up under his tutelage, as a awesome criminal, murder, kill woman. And then she breaks from him. And I think this movie is supposed to be like the two of them basically at war. And then Daredevil shows up and kicks somebody in the face. So that's good.
I figured he'd
I-
be a cameo if it's.
In his red suit, by the way. This is key.
Oh.
Mhm. Yeah,
Ooh.
I noticed that
Yeah.
too.
He's not wearing that little that yellow I just fucked
Yeah.
She-Hulk doing a walk of shame suit. Yeah. He's got his bad boy red suit on.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
I'm dying to see what they had to the whole Daredevil redo. Like they did it one way and they didn't like it, so they redid the whole thing. I'm dying to see what the end result is.
So again, going off nothing but pure rumors, the thought was that it was a little too removed from the Netflix show, like they kind of became a little too bubbly and whatever. And they saw that people were getting nervous about it and people wanted something closer to that what they got out of Netflix. So they ditched the original plot, which is supposed to be, I think they said the original story was basically a courtroom drama where most of it takes place in the courtroom and Daredevil doesn't even show up in his costume until like halfway into the season.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were
But
like, no, no, we don't need to
that's
do
gonna
this.
be like the She-Hulk thing because that was kind of like courtroom drama bullshit.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
but
Right.
it was better.
And
That was
people don't want
fine
that with their
for that.
yeah, for She-Hulk that
Right.
was fine.
Agreed. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
and they
I
don't
enjoyed
need to
that show,
duplicate
but
it. Yeah.
right. And so I think that they wanted he was becoming a little too quirky, a little too, you know, blah blah blah. So they said, "All right, let's retool the show and make it closer to what we had with Netflix cuz I mean, everybody loved it. Why
Right.
fix something that isn't
So
broken?"
I remember. I mean, we sort of previously talked about that. I'm just saying, I can't wait until it finally comes out to see how it finally resolved after that kind of back and forth thinking.
Well, you got a long wait. Born Again is not coming out until Jesus, at least 2025.
Oh
Well,
wow.
gonna
Yeah,
tune
the writer's
in.
strike fucked up. The writer's strike fucked up a
Yeah.
lot of things.
Yeah, of
So,
course. Yeah.
um, yeah. So, but Echo is going to be a good holdover. Plus, it's coming all out at once. Even though it's Disney Plus, they're not piecemealing it. They're just
Oh
releasing
really?
the entire show.
That's
All
smart
five.
for them.
Yep, first time they're doing it. All five episodes drop the same night.
Hmm.
So,
You know what I've been watching recently that I've enjoyed a lot. I just finished the first season. For All Mankind.
oh
Have you
God damn
what?
it. Nothing. It wouldn't be an episode if I didn't fucking have to hardcore disagree with one of you about something.
Just an interesting thought experiment.
No, it isn't. No, it is not an interesting thought experiment. It is not an
Why?
interesting anything.
Oh shit! Now I have to see.
That show sucks. That show was an interesting idea for about 5 minutes that goes absolutely fucking nowhere and becomes a marriage drama. Like Okay, it's a show that okay,
Yeah,
it's a show that
okay,
it's a
I
show
get
that
yes,
has
it is.
it's a show that had
Does
one
have a lot of
interesting
that.
idea. Yeah, it's got one interesting idea, and you're like, "Oh, I wonder where it's gonna go." Oh, okay, so that guy's having an affair on his wife. Cool. Okay, that guy's having some mental problems. That guy's wife is mad at him. That kid's that guy's kid went riding a bike and got hit by a car. Oh, the season's over? Great. Awesome. Basically, the only difference is what if Russia landed on the moon first? Dum dum dum. Like, okay, like yeah, it's an interesting idea that goes absolutely freaking nowhere. And it, I don't think that the trajectory of that show is really takes advantage. Like it doesn't. I'll put it this way: it doesn't seem like the rewritten history has anything to do with that one event. Like yes, they now present a whole new different like storyline of how history would have unfolded, but it's not really so dependent on that one thing. Like
Well, I guess
there's no
the
direct
thought of it.
correlation. They're just like after that one thing, they're just like, oh, and what if this happened, and what if that happened, and what if now Russia and the U.S. is at war, and what if that?
Well, the
Oh, sorry,
entire
spoiler.
thing
But
is
They
an extrapolation off of a single twist in real history. So the
right,
entire thought experiment is like that expose.
but that butterfly effect that happens from it
no what
could have been anything. It doesn't relate to the initial thing.
Right,
Plus,
but
again,
this
what
so much.
what Skippy no what Skippy is saying is kind of on point, but the if you it's hard to do. The first season took place over maybe 2 or 3 years, I think. Maybe 3 or 4, I don't know.
I thought I
But
just read it's
whatever.
like
No,
decades.
it's a few. Yeah, it's a few
No,
decades.
so
No, the first
Each one
season is a
takes
not
few
the
place in
first
a
decades.
season.
new decade, but maybe the
Yes.
season
So the
itself only is
second
2
season,
years, yeah.
when the second season itself starts up, they're like, they're people are driving around in electric cars and shit like that, and they got a little bit better, and they started dropping some hints as to like, okay, if the space program became a huge race and that moonshot thing didn't stop and it kept going, where would all this extra funding into the space program go, and what would come out of that, and then like how would that trickle down to
It would have
the
been a fast
average
tracking
Joe kind
of
of
like
thing.
space, right? Like
Right, so
technology
they're
increasing.
talking about electric cars with the battery tech that they developed for the lunar colony, because now they're instead of waiting 50 years for this, they were like, we got to beat Russia. And they kept on going with that Cold War thing. So
Which takes about maybe 2 episodes of the entire season, and the rest of it is them arguing with their wives and having affairs behind their back. And also
that's
their
that's
dumbass kids.
that's true to the point. Yeah. I can't argue with that. I
Yeah.
enjoy the show.
Writers think they need that drama shit to pull thought experiment,
I
people
don't think
into a show in order to propagate the actual thought experiment, because the thought
see, I don't
experiment itself won't be like a entertainment draw.
see, I don't think that's it. I think honestly it's a case of somebody having like one idea and thinking it's a brilliant idea and not thinking it all the way through and not having enough to say as a result of it. And then
But
realizing
are the
that, oh shit,
drama
we've got an entire season to fill.
but are the marriage dramas like important to the main point of
No,
the grand
not at
arc?
all.
Like the
Not at
grand
all.
calculus of why the fuck, you know,
No, not at all.
if one, because they're so
No,
specific, one tiny
no,
piece of
it's
history
not.
changes,
Right.
and the butterfly effect is what they're trying to explain. But once they
Hmm.
go too far in the future, it's just drama.
Yeah. No, we sent a no, we were so mad at the Russians we sent a lesbian into space. I think that was like one of the episodes. I don't remember. It was so weird. It's just yeah, it's a no. Sorry, can't agree. But hey, Jerry, I'm proud of you. After I don't know how many months or years, you got Apple TV to work on whatever the hell you're watching it on. Good for you. Jerry, I see you're silent over there.
Yes. I did not get Apple TV to work.
Wait, how did you watch For All Mankind?
Oh no.
Oh, I
That's-
see. I got it. Wink, wink. I gotcha. Dude,
Somebody
you need
else's
to get.
TV.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Speaking of wink wink. Jesus fuck. I swear to God, Skippy, you started years ago with the whole we live in a simulation thing, and
I,
everything that
I didn't
happens in
start
my
it.
fucking life points to that. So I had an eye doctor's appointment for myself and my daughter today. And when I went in there, I was going in, for the I made this a month or two ago, and I also wanted to talk to the doctor about getting eye surgery. I'm just
You mean
tired
like
of
LASIK?
putting.
LASIK, you mean?
Well, uh, that's what I thought, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway,
Oh, because I'm thinking about it too. So we'll talk later.
yeah, I would. I don't think I'd get LASIK, but
No, I want the other one. I want the one they put
Am
on
I
top of
gonna
yes,
my eyes.
yes,
fucking
yep, yep,
cringe
yep.
at the end by
Yeah.
the end of this story?
No, no, it's not that bad. But so anyway,
Kevin,
I
Kevin's
had
It's-
this is what
Kevin's
I'm.
if
butthole
you're
is
gonna
just
talk
tightening a
about
little.
eye surgery, I don't want to fucking hear it. Okay.
It's no, dude, chill. It's not bad. I was considering talking to the doctor about eye surgery. Had a eye doctor appointment, and this morning when I opened up YouTube, what was on there but a video posted within the past like 4 or 5 days by Weird Al Yankovic, and it was a 10-minute long video of, of a newscast that was following him when he got LASIK surgery 25 years ago.
Well, that's not that unlikely. I mean, okay,
What? Really?
in a
Really? Wait,
in a
Dude,
world,
you
hold
live
how is
in
on,
a
that not?
house with Google Assistant.
yeah,
You're like a
yeah,
Google
you're
Assistant smart house. You're fucking paying for your
yeah,
conversation to
I'm,
hit an
I'm saying,
AI,
yeah,
and Bart
yeah,
is
dude,
like
yeah.
Gemini, Gemini magic, and
what
Papa,
Bard
here's an ad
went
for you.
Yeah,
Bard went immediately after I made my doctor's appointment. Bard went
It's
to
instant.
Weird Al and
No, no,
said,
no,
no,
dude,
Weird
no,
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 Al, please
no,
put this video together.
no.
Go
It
back
puts
no,
in
two
no, no,
things
no,
time.
no, no.
together. It knows you like
Hold
Weird
on.
Al Yankovic. You won't shut the hell up about your
This
eye
I'm
isn't.
surgery
I'm
at home,
No
and that's
agent
it.
goes to you and says, "Let me make this." It just propagates and hits
Kevin,
output.
I was being sarcastic. But what I was saying is this video was created and posted within the past 4 or 5 days.
That's
It
AI
didn't even
genius,
that
bitch.
that's
Look,
no, that's AI can't go back in time for this
what if it
video
can?
to be made and
What if it
show up
can? What if
like
it can?
No,
2
it
days.
just knows it exists. 25 years
Yeah.
ago.
I'm not.
Dude, it's look, I put it this way. Yes, I know I
It's
know we
searching.
do live in I know we live in a simulation. For love of God, you are the NPC in my simulation. But like I think of all the examples that have been
Would you like to
presented
buy a
for
sword?
the
Would you like to buy some pants?
Oh,
Do you have a
fucking
quest for
health
me?
potions. If
Jared,
only
do you have
they
a
knew
quest for
it's
me?
just
Special
cranberry juice.
pants. Special pants. I have special pants.
Of all the things that have come up in the
Oh my
last few
god,
years
fucker.
that would show that we possibly live in a simulation, I would say that ranks like I think we need a new scale for them. Like out of let's just use the traditional like 0 to 10 for now. That one's like a 5 or 6. Come
Which
on, the
one?
example that I gave you a few days ago where I thought of something and then like hours or like a day later, Twitch recommended it like out of the blue. That was way more insane.
Oh
That
no,
was I didn't
because
even say.
you're obviously putting out your thought waves for everyone to hear.
Well, that's
You're
yes,
not wearing any kind of hat there.
that is of course. Do you have a quest for me to go get a hat?
I
It's
do.
here's
Okay.
why. When you browse, you're not talking, right? So like your
I didn't
normal
browse.
you were
I didn't
talking
do
though.
anything. I thought. No. I told you that. I literally thought of this weird. I thought of some game. The name of the game. I couldn't even remember the name of the game. I just remembered randomly a review that I read over 20 years ago of this game, and I was like, oh, I remember that weird game. What was that game called? That was so like revolutionary, ahead of its time. I wonder what that game is called. I have no way to Google it or find it because I don't even know like where to even begin looking for it. And the next day I open up Twitch and it recommends a streamer that I do not follow playing that game. A game that came out
Wait
in
a
the
minute.
fucking
Oh
90s. That's
shit.
insane.
You know what?
Kevin's
Wow.
like,
I'm
oh,
going.
that's fucked.
No, because what you're describing
Yeah, he knows. I repeat,
implies
he
a
knows.
certain
He
thing.
knows. I repeat, he knows. Yeah, go ahead, NPC. Explain that one. You can't. I broke your little program.
No, I can actually.
Oh yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
but I can't. The words aren't there, so I
Any
can't.
minute, a man in a suit with sunglasses is gonna walk through my door and shoot me in the face. Anyway.
No, if I'm thinking about AI.
Look, he's glitching.
Because I had AI was the joke I said back at you. It's AI reading your thing and it just propagates forward to like what you're supposed to see because you said something
Yeah.
based on super search of content that or already exists or actually paid for content, right?
Right.
But then what you're talking about is almost like probability reading things you're doing on such a continuous basis that like the path you're taking in your browsing interests, like probability wise, leads you to like, is it guessing?
Man.
Almost reading your mind a little bit?
I don't know. You tell me, Kevin.
Mm.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Anyway. So speaking of actually not simulate. Well, what else? We had something else I thought that we wanted to mention show-wise that we're actually Kevin, at some point you wanted to talk about
Overlord.
Yeah. But also you wanted to talk about Our Flag Means Death at some point. Did you ever finish the second season?
Yeah.
Oh fuck!
well,
I have to start that.
Oh, okay. Well,
Oh,
okay.
well,
Forget that
then
topic then.
we can't really talk about that one.
No, it's okay. We'll wait since you Kevin did. We'll just wait.
It's a very niche type of show, by the way, but I think it's fantastic. It's such an awesome psychological review of like different personalities. It's pretty cool to watch.
It's unfortunately it's one of those shows
experiment.
Hey, you know what? That term is beginning to annoy the shit out of me for some reason. I think at this point
did you say thought experiment?
Yeah, I was joking.
Yeah, what if pirates were gay? Yeah, it happened. A lot of them were.
That's not a thought experiment.
Here, let me ask you this though. Let me ask you this. Isn't the term thought experiment an oxymoron or I guess a contradiction of sorts? If you look up the definition of an experiment and how experiments are conducted, isn't the thought experiment not an experiment at all?
Or because it's just thoughts.
Because you don't go through any steps that you go through during an actual experiment. You just think of stuff.
No, what you're attempting to do in a thought experiment is talk about potentialities and then boil down the most likely one.
Yeah, but you're not conducting an experiment. You're not collecting data, analyzing results.
No, you're multi-modeling. No, you're taking a simple concept and you're trying to make multiple extrapolated, like you're trying to guess what will fucking happen.
Real quick, right now, we're in a thought experiment. Don't let that blow your mind.
It's thought experiment inception.
Yeah. but what I'm saying is there's a very specific steps.
Oh, so it's a tie. We're both right.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Okay, there are steps in an experiment. There's a I forget what they are, but somewhere there's a hypothesis. There's a hypothesis.
Hypotenuse.
Yeah, and then there's a hippopotamus, and then you have collect data, and then you analyze your hippopotamus's data, and you come up, you prove or disprove your hypothesis, and then you have somewhere there's a theory, and then at some point you have a result, and you say whether your hypothesis was right or wrong. But a thought experiment is you saying, like, yeah, what if blah blah happened, and you're going, well, I wonder how blah blah could happen, but because this thought experiment is happening in your own head, there's no objectivity. You're going off the limited knowledge that is in your head and basically
No, but
extrapolating all this stuff
the
based
goal is to
only
have
on
it
your
with
beliefs and your
two
knowledge.
heads or three heads and like correlate opinion.
But it's okay, but you're still working
It's
within the
philosophy.
limitations. Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, actually, thank you. You actually said that way better than I didn't have to go on that whole rant. You just summarized it. Isn't a thought experiment just like bullshitting and philosophy? It seems like a thought experiment is just a
Oh,
pretentious way to say, "Hey guys, I thought of something." You come out and say,
yeah.
"You know what I had? I had a thought experiment.
Oh,
I'm,
you're a
It's
bullshit
I'm,
yeah,
yeah, basically,
Did you bullshit today?
I'm gonna have
what the
guys.
fuck?
Okay.
I have a
Oh,
Did
thought
you
so
experiment.
what?
bullshit
This podcast is
yesterday?
bullshit
Yeah, I was gonna go to
because
Taco Bell, but then I
we're
had a thought
bullshit
experiment
squared.
that I would shit my pants, so I did not go to Taco Bell. That is my
Holy
thought
shit!
experiment.
That's
Yeah,
that's an accurate and
yeah.
good one. Yes.
I think I deserve a Nobel Prize.
This is a
Well, but
crazy simulation theory because you can't make this shit up.
oh, fuck you. Anyway, what I'm saying is, I forget what I was saying. But I realize from now on I'm gonna hear nothing but the words thought experiment with every fucking single thing I bring up.
Oh,
I
okay.
like the
So like,
term, so I know I use that a lot. I'm sorry if I
No, no, you don't have
contribute
to
to
be
the
sorry.
overload.
I'm not trying to change your programming, Kevin. I'm just saying that it just for some reason
Oh,
the other day I was listening to another podcast and that same person said they were talking about games and he's like, "Well, that's an interesting thought experiment." I'm like, "Stop saying it. Stop calling everything a thought experiment for the love of God."
but what is triggering you into such turmoil around
I
the
don't know.
words
I
thought
think it's like
and
like when you watch
experiment?
Marvel movies and you're like, God damn it, if somebody says quantum one more time, I'm going to I'm gonna curb stomp a small animal. Like that's my like I think I'm getting to that point with the term thought experiment. Like not everything is a thought experiment. Some things are just a thing. So somebody thought.
You know what's funny? I'm starting to achieve that with people using like multiverse, myself included, almost like
Yeah.
ubiquitously, like in
Yeah, that's
everything.
also yeah.
What's funny though is it's not a fed upness, it's like a oh, and it's like sort of boring and ubiquitous again.
apathy.
You what?
It's
What is it?
just like a general apathy for that word or that phrase. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it means nothing to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Once it gets overused, its
Yeah.
meaning is lost. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds do that too sometimes, right? You say the same word over and over again and you're like, "Wait, what does that mean again?"
Oh,
Or
so I
it
think about
starts
like
There's
sounding
a
weird.
there's a
Like if
word
you go
for
word,
that
word, word,
means
word,
what I'm
word, you're like,
describing.
wow, word isn't really word. Weird word. What
Yeah,
can
you're like the
am I
sound
saying that
becomes
wrong?
disassociated from the meaning,
Mhm.
and there's actually a word for what I'm describing, but I don't know what that word.
I misunderstood. When you said sound, I thought you meant like I farted so many times in front of my wife, it doesn't mean it. That sound doesn't mean anything anymore. She just
That's
doesn't register.
whoa, um that's totally a different, smell sense. That's like a different dimension,
Yes.
of sensory
Yeah,
input. It's
yeah,
not
no,
like sound. It's that's
yeah, no,
That
that's a
poor
sphinx.
woman.
That's a sphincter experiment.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Okay.
whatever.
But anyway, wow.
So if we want to
That's a
pull
whole
back
different
like
conversation.
18 tangents, the whole thing, so when I was talking to the doctor and
Oh,
I
yeah.
was saying,
I forgot
so
Jerry had a story.
I only wanted to get surgery in one eye
Don't let
because
it have
whenever
surgery, damn it. I don't want to talk about surgery.
it's just a word, it's just the S word. When I want to I was considering S wording my one eye because
The worst.
I wear contacts in that only that eye. So and
Wait,
he's
you
like,
only wear
oh
whoa, whoa, whoa. You only wear a contact in one eye?
Yeah,
I didn't know
because
that.
I wanna the contact lets me see far, so I can see distance out of my right eye, and my left eye, I don't do that, so I can do stuff like look at a computer or read a book or my phone or something.
He bi
So I have
Whoa,
eyes.
whoa,
one eye
whoa.
that sees
Yeah,
distance and one eye
yeah.
Hold on.
He
that sees
doesn't. He
close.
doesn't stereo.
That sounds like that. You can do you. Oh,
He
whoa,
trained
seriously, you
himself how
just
to
blew my
do that.
mind.
He just chose
You
to
just
do
blew
that
my.
out of
That is amazing.
preference, and over
You
years
literally
he
just blew
learned
my mind.
how to make that normal.
No, because I know like that's a thing in there's a type of pilot that actually learns how to do that. There's a Nicolas Cage movie about that actually. That's the only reason I know about it, where they have to no, they wear this, it's cool. They wear this like this helmet, and one of them like feeds them like one type of data, and the other part of the visor feeds them like flight data or something, or like they I think one feeds data and the other one like watching where they're flying. I'm serious. It's a Nicolas Cage movie. I think it's
I
called
know
like
what you're talking
Apache
about.
or something. About it, where he's a helicopter pilot, and they actually have to train pilots to be able to interpret completely two different um, uh, inputs of data into each eye at the same time. But I've never heard of a person actually training themselves to do that. So my question is: A, that sounds hard. B, that sounds like you would get really bad headaches. And C, that can't be good for either eye. Aren't you ruining your
So
eyesight by doing that?
It doesn't. It's. I mean, there's nothing really. I just put a contact in my one eye. I could see far, and my other eye, I see close. And I guess
Wait,
my
hold on, hold on.
brain determines like, am I looking far or am I looking
And you
close?
don't have
And
to
it's
wait,
just like
you don't have to
I'll
blink or close your eyes because right now everything's blurry.
No,
My
Skippy.
eyes.
No, not
No,
really.
Skippy.
Sometimes if I read for a long time, I'll like close my right eye, my distance eye, but otherwise I just no, I just my brain handles it normally.
How long did it
What?
take you to learn to do that?
I I don't know. I, not long, I don't think.
Okay, where did you get that? Did you come up with that idea by yourself, or did you read that
I
somewhere?
honestly don't remember. And that's what the doctor was asking me today. And I'm like, no, I think I just might have like, or maybe like I lost one contact and was like, "Oh, this is great. I could do both things at once."
I
Wait,
think that's got to be it's got
I'm
to be an
gonna say
anomaly.
something crazy. I when I go for my like 2.5 mile walk in the morning, I'll do like a meditative exercise, and I'll concentrate awareness on one eye's input and then swing over to the other eye's input. And what's funny is even though I'm looking and you see normal, like if you close an eye, what happens is I'll have like two awarenesses at the same time. So it's just a conscious how do I explain this? It's like a splitting of awareness, and I think uh that's what he's talking about, where he's got one mechanical different input and another one that's totally different, and your brain is going to like superimpose both of them and like translate the meaning out of both of them, like
Also,
distance
Jerry,
versus near.
yeah, I can't process it because I can't. I'd have to literally try it out. I can't imagine that. Also, Jerry, aren't you? Doesn't that mean you're driving illegally? I'm pretty sure if you're the law is you have to have both of your eyes working
Corrective lenses.
I
at the.
don't know. I mean, I could read fine if I took
He's
an eye test,
nearsighted.
which I did. I with
Huh.
only the one contact in, I could read everything perfectly.
Huh. This is intriguing. I kind of want to try this, but I don't have any contact lenses. I could. Huh. Okay, so I'm sorry.
I'm
So
not going to try it
I
because I known him that he's been doing this for like forever. The only weird thing
yeah.
is he does do active squinting to like
Oh. Oh,
hyper
so when your
focus one
avatar
eye.
looks like he's having a stroke, that's because you're actually doing weird things with your eyes. I thought it was just bad
Uh-huh.
programming.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay.
That's kind of actually true. If you're noticing
Oh.
it on the avatar, that could be.
Yeah, Jerry's avatar is always like, "Huh?
But I don't have anything in right now, so
Oh, okay, never mind. He's just so it's just a
yeah.
shitty
It's
program.
just a habit.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I derailed you again. So you told your doctor this thing, and
Oh
what
yeah,
happened?
and he was like, "We have this thing, this CLE, clear lens exchange, where
Oh,
it's
Hmm.
basically cataract surgery, but you
oh,
don't have
fuck.
cataracts."
This is what I
Right.
So
didn't want to talk
they
about.
take out your
They do
biological
it a
lens and they
thin slice. They pull out the lens and then they put
yep.
in the other lens and then they just let the eye heal back. And you have to
Mhm.
stay fucking awake
Yeah, wait, I thought what they do is they
during
cut
the
the top layer
surgery.
off and they flap
That's
it open
LASIK.
and then put
That's
no,
LASIK.
and then they put a lens
Mm,
in and then put it. I didn't know they take
fuck.
something. I didn't know they take
Dude,
anything
I
out
cannot
during
They
all of
take
I
it.
I
your
do not know
biological
how
lens
to be
out and they
conscious through
put
such a thing.
Huh, that's kind of cool.
yeah, they take your biological lens out and they put
Yeah.
the the
This
replacement
is
lens
what I
in.
didn't
The
want to talk
Yeah, I don't
dude,
know, Kevin. That stuff
you
doesn't bother me.
you went through the most detail. Sorry.
Yeah, that stuff doesn't bother. I don't know why that stuff does not bother me. Maybe
It
because I worked in EMS. I don't know, but like
No,
watching,
because
I kind of
I
like.
can
I actually like to
imagine
see. I like to
experiencing
suffer.
it and seeing, like I being like wedged open and it's like oh, my shirt
and all the little
and like that
noises,
whole
the
thing is felt
moist
in
body
advance.
fluid
So talking
noises.
about it, like I'm sort of like holding it together, being
Yeah, I
able
don't
to
know.
talk about it.
I have no problem like watching it. I wish they let me like when I got snipped. I was actually asking if I can get like a mirror to watch how it happens. Like I'm curious about all that stuff, like them cutting into you and stuff like that. That's fucking cool.
Yeah, my wife is like that. She
Takes a
wants
lot
to
of
watch the surgery.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I like this. My body,
Right.
my skin keeps all of my body parts on the inside, and that's what keeps me living. So like
Yeah.
cutting into
I've
any of
I've
that
come a long
kind of
way
takes me
being
out.
able to like actively stimulate like my vagus nerve to not faint during a lot of these kind of
Yes, I
conversations.
find that interesting because like
I
yeah,
can vouch for that.
you've got all this stuff. You're basically just wearing like this bag over like all this cool stuff that it's hiding.
Yeah.
And once in a while, like stuff will penetrate and you're like, whoa,
Oh,
there's like
liquid falls
fluid.
out.
Yeah, like there's bits and stuff in there and there's like a little man. It's great. It's pretty cool. Like I actually would have loved to have watched the surgery with it they did on me uh
Oh,
when I think like when my accident happened and I realized that was like I was obviously partially in shock, but like you understand like when I could see my leg, like I could see it gone and like bones sticking out and
oh,
everything like that.
oh my
And I was
god,
just and at that I wasn't like screaming and whatever. I was just like, well, that I was like, well, that's not good.
that's not gonna go back
It was
together.
just live feed
Okay.
Yeah.
without the yeah.
Oh,
Oof.
oh,
Yeah, but
sorry,
again,
that
like
gives me the heebie-jeebies.
nah, it wasn't that bad.
Like, I think I'm between you and Kevin
Mm.
because, like, my wife will watch, like, surgery shows, and I'll be like, "Oh," and, like but, like, I have a little squinty eye open, and I'm kinda watching like that,
Well, it's because
you
you
know
only have one contact lens in. Yeah, I got you.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Wait, so anyways, so are you getting that surgery? Because I'm curious, because I actually am looking into it.
I
I'm
don't
very
know. I'm going to, like, do he just mentioned it earlier. I'll do some research into it. I'll look into it. He's like, if you do this, you're not going to get cataracts because there's nothing to go bad in there, and so you're kind of having front loading your cataract surgery, and
also, one of the
he
things I've
said
read.
like
I'm sorry,
also
go ahead.
that they're putting in perfect lenses. He's like,
Mhm.
so you're going to be able it will do both eyes, and you're going to be able to see perfectly near and far out of both of them. It's just you have
Yeah.
perfect vision. You have a perfect lens. So
Jeez.
Yeah, 2 things got me interested in that is, A, they've been doing that surgery longer, so they have more data on what happens
Yeah.
long term, they've also perfected it better than LASIK. The other thing that I like is they, unlike with LASIK, um, and I hope we're talking about the same thing because I really don't remember reading anything about them removing your lens, but I might have just misunderstood that part. But they said this is fully reversible, or if there's any problems, they can actually go in and fix it. Whereas with LASIK, there's a small percentage of people whose
Hmm.
vision unfortunately gets really fucked up after LASIK, or they have permanent trails. I forget what it's called. Like they keep saying
Right.
light trail. There's
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
you can do. Suppose that right, you can't do anything with that. They said they can sort of try to tweak it, but rarely does it ever help. With this one, apparently, if there's any complications or real problems stemming from the surgery, they very often can fix it.
I don't. Well, if it's just swapping in and out a lens, I would think that that's what that makes it easy to fix. But it
I
says
don't know.
today's modern surgical techniques allow surgeons to remove the natural lens from the eye using ultrasonic vibrations through micro incision of 3 millimeters or less.
Hmm.
The natural lens is replaced by an intraocular lens, which is inserted through the micro incision. Once inside the eye, the lens spontaneously unfolds as it's placed into its permanent position. So
Mm.
it sounds like they're James Webbing that shit into
I
your
don't.
eyeball.
My
It sounds like
brain
the
does
back.
CGI for this shit when you describe stuff,
Mhm.
okay?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, so do I. So does mine. It's like the little thing going in the eye, and like the
Dude, we
stuff
are
coming
we
out.
are we are
There's a
really
little
close.
jelly attached to it.
We are very, very, very close to having like Geordie eye stuff anyway. So that stuff
Oh
scares me
yeah.
less and less. Even if you mess up your vision, at this point, they're like giving blind people the ability to see. Like they can do that. That science, that technology
Yeah,
exists
they can
in some in some
technically,
in
but
some
It's
it's
like
cases.
low
not good.
pixel.
You could see like, you know, 10 by 10 pixels of black and white, and I'm like, okay,
No,
there's a
no, no.
light on over there.
Not anymore. No, no, that's come a long way at this point. I mean, it's not perfect 20/20 vision, but they're legitimately giving people the ability to like see. And what they do is then they give them like gigantic goggles or put big, like contact
Right.
lenses or whatever over that their vision is normal. So, and that's only going to get better with time. So right now, if you get one of these surgeries and completely f up your eyes, um, hopefully in a few years they can fix it anyway. So there you go. Get
Yeah,
Assuming
a little
we
and
don't.
visor.
shit like Neuralink and that kind of stuff is, trying to do BCI, brain computer interface, where they're like they could bypass this kind of stuff.
That
Right.
shit's
So there
scary
you go.
too.
That's
The whole
fine. It's
monkey
just
I
monkey
mean, if
controversy.
when they can like patch into your auditory section, and I can just be like, like I could stream my music into my brain at any point
yeah,
at
that I
any
don't want.
time,
Yeah, that I
like
don't want.
I would do that.
Yeah, I know you would. You'd be you the second Neuralink like goes on sale at Costco, you're there. I got it. Like
Well, just so far they can't find a material of filament that enters the brain that doesn't cause like brain swelling.
oh good. That, oh, it makes your brain bigger. That's good. It makes you
Bigger's better.
yeah, you can have
Why
much better
Texas
thought
is so popular.
you can have much better thought experiments.
More
With the
more
bigger
room
brain.
to think in.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so there you go. Yeah, actually speaking of glasses, Kevin, did you decide if you're gonna get VR glasses yet? You were
Well,
threatening
not
to get those.
VR, AR or XR is what I'm looking for. It's
Wait, XR
we
is the
have to
name of the
get that
brand,
right.
right? That's not
No,
or
the uh, glasses that are VR are totally different than like an AR glasses because there's pass through, usually either camera or passive pass through, and then a
okay.
small like mirror based uh screen that's like you know placed in such a place that looks like a huge monitor 120 inches long or diagonal or something like that.
Yeah,
But you can still see behind the glasses. You can still see what's in front of you. So it's AR.
right. Okay, all right. So you getting them or
It's
what?
like a heads up display. I've been looking at a couple, and I have nearsightedness in one of my eyes, or well, it's both. Uh,
You know what
Whatever.
you need.
A, a contact lens in one of them.
Yeah, that's right. Um, that's actually funny because that could work. But
Dude,
basically,
don't worry.
there's
We got you.
certain
Jerry will
type of
bring an X-Acto knife.
eye issue
Yeah.
is like I guess if the adjustment is a minus versus a plus on your prescription, I think it's called the myopic whatever. The certain glasses don't support that. So like I was looking at which one did we have on the list? It was the X Real 2 Pros
Hmm.
or something like that. They don't have that myopic thing, which I think I need. So I'm doing like a lot deeper research
Oh, I
into
see.
it to find out exactly. And there's other glasses, but they're like I don't want a dorky set of glasses, but I'm like, am I really? I'm not gonna fucking walk down the street or anything. So I'm just gonna be sitting on a couch with a big ass monitor in front of my face virtually.
Mm. Yeah.
So I'm just looking at my options. I'm like not trying to be since they're like $500. I don't want to go. But anyway, it's not VR. Like you just goggle your
Yeah.
whole head.
Yeah.
But like, I was just looking at these glasses that you were looking at, thinking, you could like throw up a video over your whole field of view, so you're looking at this like giant movie screen,
Hmm.
and like, what must it be like to watch Hardcore Henry on those glasses? I feel like it would almost make it worth it, or like it would either totally justify the purchase, or you would be so sick you would never want to put those on again.
I'm gonna do
Hmm. I,
Hardcore Henry had them.
I'm okay. I mean, that or just nonstop porn 24 hours a day. Yeah.
That's
I mean, that's what these. I'm assuming that's probably 99% of the things that people are watching on this.
Yeah,
And
I
the
don't
other
know
and the
if you try
and the
to
other one is Hardcore Henry. But
if you buy it on Amazon, does it say like, most often purchased with flashlight?
yeah, like that's the thing. Like, I would never in a million years buy like a used MetaQuest. Not because I'm afraid of it'll has like eye boogers on it, but because the everything else is very sticky.
oh my god.
Wow, this
Yeah.
really glows under black light.
uh, yeah. All right. Well, let me know when you actually decide. I still think the MetaQuest would be the better option for you, but unfortunately, that comes with the caveat of buying a
No,
Meta product.
so I'm looking at like the Ray-Bans Meta one or like that class of glasses.
Wait, Ray-Ban Meta glasses?
I just don't want to
He
buy the
wants
one
to
that's
look
powered by
cool.
Meta.
Right. That's why I wouldn't buy a Meta. Honestly, is even
Yeah. But you know what I
if the
mean, the one
MetaQuest.
that's Ray-Ban smart glasses.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If the MetaQuest was made by almost any other company, I actually would probably go out and buy one at this point. But the fact that it's made by Zuckerberg means I will never ever buy it. So,
Yeah, agreed.
and it's a shame. It's pretty cool. It's an interesting product, but yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, they're doing in the whole AI stuff that's going on. It's interesting what they're developing. They have a couple
By
of
developing, you mean losing billions of dollars every quarter? Yeah,
yeah, they
I
are.
guess it's a,
They are. They're dumping it in weird directions, but they're coming up with interesting ideas nonetheless. I don't have examples, but because I can't recall it at the moment, but there was I read it like 2 weeks ago. Something that caught my eye, and I was like, "Oh, that's actually interesting." And I
that
was like,
face
"Sucks,
From
comp.
it's a fate."
Zuckerberg.
Yeah, sucks, it's them doing it because like
Yeah,
that almost taints the whole thing. It's a
yeah, that
shame, you
face
know.
conferencing thing. Did you see that when they do the face-to-face conversation thing? That was pretty that was pretty crazy.
I didn't see
When
it,
you
Was
no.
that Facebook?
no
The,
no
the,
they
the
did
I thought, who was doing that?
no he demoed a conversation between two people talking very closely to one another, but all you see is the face. But the thing is, because it's got cameras inside, it did like almost a photo perfect reconstruction of the person's face. So you're in this dark like space with another person, and all you see is their like head.
You see a floating head
But
in front of you, and the two of you
it's
talk
like
in like VR space. Is that what you're saying?
right, but
Oh,
it's
we're
right.
talking about two different things.
Yeah, and but this isn't like that other demonstration where you see like the person's avatar. He looks, they look like an amiibo or whatever that the
Right.
Nintendo things are
Yeah.
called.
No legs
But
or something like that.
right, this is different. This is just a head, but it's like almost photorealistic, and it's getting all that just by scanning your head inside the visor. So like you're talking to
Wow.
somebody. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
pretty cool. That's
That's
Oh
like
pretty
yeah.
interesting.
When
a
I was
classic
thinking of the
sci-fi show, where two people VR talk to each other, but like you're
Yeah,
only
I
getting the
mean,
head.
right. It's basically just a very advanced video call. Like we're doing that right now. I can
Yeah,
see a very photorealistic representation of your faces.
but we'd
If
be
you had better
floating
cam.
in space.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect
hmm.
darkness. So anyway, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's something that I would, like I said, I would consider, but never ever am I giving that company a penny of my
Yeah,
of my
yeah,
of
they're
my allowance.
scary. It's very
Yeah,
scary.
Yeah. Gio Zuckerberg is building like $1 billion underground bunker in Hawaii that's meant to basically be. It's got um,
Why would
it's
you
got.
do that in Hawaii?
Well, because it's on an island, so I guess it's away from the mainland, but he's doing it underground. Well, basically, because you can have, I guess, a nice Hawaiian house, and underneath is a bunker that produces its own like power, food, water, everything. You can just live down there forever. But it's
I, I guess. I
It's got to
mean,
get
well, yeah,
past
I don't know.
Armageddon.
That's in a very geologically active area, and I don't know if you'd want a bunker in a place like that, or maybe he's like totally
I-
going crazy geothermal or something like that.
maybe that's part of it. But all I'm saying is, when billionaires begin building underground bunkers that are meant to withstand horrible things, you might start worrying a little bit about things.
A little bit.
They're not. Yeah.
I mean, do you think he's doing it for a specific reason or just because he's a billionaire and he can?
I mean, we
People have done
won't
that
know until it's
before.
too. We won't know until it's too late. That's the problem. So
It's like you like the arc ship in the fuck Don't Look Up. And then they go
yeah,
to the
man,
places. Hey, you're
yeah.
gonna get killed by a Zorgelblatt. What's a Zorgelblatt? We don't know. We were
That's
wondering
actually
if you knew.
one of the things that I'm surprised. None of these, not none, but a lot of these movies have never actually. So, like, Don't Look Up, and what was the other one? 2012, I think was it, or whatever that movie with John Cusack, where the world is ending and they build those Noah's Ark kind of things. In
Oh,
all
I
of
don't
them,
know if I
they show.
saw that.
It's an end of the world movie. It's with.
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably just blocked it out because it's like any other movie. I think it was 2012. But anyway, in all those movies, they construct these either underground shelters or they have like these gigantic ships and everything. And it's always like they show like the rich people get like the nicest rooms there, and they get the rich people on board. I surprised that in none of those movies they show that the rich people don't just have their own completely separate way to survive these horrible disasters.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. They totally do. I'm pretty sure if tomorrow the world ended, all the Musks, the Sergeys, and the Zuckerbergs of the world have their little, you know, escape plans ready to go. I don't think they would rely on the world's government to come and rescue them or provide a way
Yeah,
for them
but
to live
all
their.
all such ventures are basically, I mean, you would have to plan for like, at least your lifetime, but like beyond that, what else? What's the point? Like it's almost like you're not, I mean, until you run out normally without
Yeah.
like a hospital or anything else, the first sort of shitty circumstance, you're just done. So
Yeah,
whatever,
but
it's like
they.
a 25-year bunker at that point, or 50
Oh
if
man,
you're
if you get
lucky.
it like a nasty cavity, you're gonna be like,
Yeah,
motherfucker,
that's my point too.
this
That's exactly,
sucks.
yeah. So
I
you'll get so much pain, you'll be forced to like pull it out with pliers, and then you're like,
I'm
"Arr." and then you get
I'm pretty sure that somebody like Zuckerberg has
infected.
thought of that and probably has a plan to take like his doctor or dentist or whoever the hell, some medical
All right,
professionals with
sure.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
I
Don't get me wrong.
if he's planning,
People live like astonishingly long without, doctors and modern medicine and shit, but like still.
yeah. Yeah. Look, I don't know. I have never built a bunker, so I don't know. Yes, I think all those crazy people, the preppers, yes, I think they're fucked. I think they're not prepared for anything at all. They think that digging a hole in the ground and having like a bunch of bottles of water and cans of beans is going to keep them alive for 50 years. Of course it's not. But hey man, everybody needs a hobby, so whatever. Have at
I
it.
mean, it will if you get lucky.
Mm, I don't know. Not that lucky. Anyway, do we want to take a quick break here for refills and then
Probably should.
come back and
Sure.
cover the rest
Yeah,
of
an
it?
hour and a half
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, we got a few more things we got to go. So I think
So
it's a good
let's
place to
see.
take a
Skibby's
break.
got to talk about some game. You can see the glint in his eye. So Skippy,
What's this weed
part?
business?
What do you have for part 2 here?
Why is it always up to me?
Okay,
God,
I am enjoying
there you go.
Stoneyard Brewing's. Thank you for asking. Stoneyard Brewing Company's Eventual Overlord India Pale Ale.
Oh, you meant drinking wise. Oh, I'm still drinking Guinness. I'm sorry. I thought you meant what do I have for part 2 as far as conversation wise. I thought
No. Like, the whole
I
like
thought you
what
loved
you got to drink.
I thought you loved me for my mind, not for my
Oh God,
booze. But yeah, no, I'm still Guinnessing it. Guinness and good old water.
no. Oh yeah, I should probably drink some of that too.
But anyway, what about you, Kevin? What are you?
He's probably drinking coffee.
I thought you would never ask. Actually, water
Well, now I'm sorry we did.
and mango slices. Got to rehydrate after partying.
After partying, you had a
Well,
you. That's what you did for the last 15
the
minutes.
first half of the podcast was hilarious. I was having
Oh,
a
okay.
great time.
Oh, okay. I thought you like you took a break from the podcast, went into like some weird rave room of your house.
No.
Oh, okay.
Although that would be
It's all
really
right.
fucking awesome.
Just have a
Some
just
drum
have
and
a.
bass. Get like a little spot for some turntables.
There you go. Yeah, people our age totally do that stuff. We're cool. We're hip.
Diplo's
We're
in
with
the
it.
There are.
house.
Hey, I know who that is. I know
Good
Diplo.
for you.
Is it Deep? Is it Diplo or Diplo?
I don't know.
But I'm just kidding. I know how to pronounce it. I'm cool. I know how to say it. Yeah, he's yeah, they're great when they do the wiki thing. That's my favorite part. And oh, there's a drop. There's a drop. There's a cool drop.
Ooh.
Yeah. Um.
And then there's like always the awesome vocals.
It's just me.
Mother, how long have you? Oh my god. Did you pay for Discord just so you could do that?
No, you could just upload it, I guess.
Oh, okay. How long you been sitting on that one?
So like what, 8 to 12 hours? However long since the podcast started.
Okay.
Oh my
all right.
god,
Well, okay.
that is fucking hilarious. And what's funny is
That
it
was-
doesn't. Oh, it is there. Oh my god.
Is it there for all of us?
Yes.
Oh my god. Oh, Kevin, what have you done? Kevin, no. Kevin, no. Kevin, that's a bad Kevin. That's a bad Kevin. Stop it. No.
I'm drinking
So
water, thank you.
so for the second part of the thing, we usually talk about gaming, and by we I mean me. And you guys sit there and nod. But is there anything you guys have played recently? Kevin, I know you got something. You were just talking about something. You actually downloaded a game this time around, right? Am I imagining things?
Yes. Well, so I actually downloaded Remnant 2,
Oh,
but I
well,
haven't
was gonna talk
started
about
it
that
yet. I didn't even see the beginning of it.
Oh, okay.
But that was
All
on
right.
Game Pass. I actually am really sort of wanting, like, I'm feeling a pull back into Cyberpunk 2077 with the
Oh, the DLC is supposed to be
expansion.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, when's the
And
last time you played? When's the last time you played Cyberpunk?
like a little bit after the crazy beginning.
Oh, okay,
Excuse me.
because that game has like transformed since then majorly. Like,
Yeah,
not even if you consider the DLC, just when version 2.0 dropped, the entire game was completely like revamped.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely. So that's
Content
part of the.
wise, or
That's part.
like just
Oh
functionality and
no,
user
everything
interface?
graphically,
everything.
it's tremendously better. And then
They
um,
upgraded everything. They changed up the skill trees. They did a lot of work on it.
and I have a
It's not a
3080
completely different.
card, so we can take advantage of a lot of that shit.
Yeah, no, they did a lot of like um, a lot of work on it,
I did a
and they were
run.
fixing it. 1.5 was a major update, but 2.0 was just a very heavy rework of that game in
Hmm.
general.
I'll be honest, I
Wow.
don't remember where I played, and I got pretty decently high level, although I did not totally finish. Um, I actually don't remember where I'd have to like go look at the save and try to figure out. Like it's been so long. Actually, how
Yeah,
long has that been out?
3 years, 2 years.
Wow,
Let's
it's
say,
been that long already?
yeah.
Yeah, so it's at least 2 years, and like it's totally out of my head. Other than
Uh,
like some key moments. Mostly
yeah.
cinematic stuff. So like I'm dying to see what they've done and get into the new content and maybe start like in a different whatever faction beginning or
Uh,
background whatever. Um but like for doing Baldur's Gate 3 cuz I it didn't hit me when it came out to dive into it.
oh,
I
you
had like a
did you
lot of
actually,
the alpha, but I finally
did you
started a
start?
run. Yeah.
You started. Oh, okay, so that's
I
gonna
think
take you
I'm
forever.
10 or 15 hours into it,
Oh Jesus, so you got
maybe
like a
20,
ways to go.
little
So does
bit.
that mean you're done? So does that mean you're done with Starfield?
I still have it installed. It's like on the
Mm.
list of like trying to fuck around with, but uh
Yeah.
for the like I haven't gone back to it after that beginning when I
Oh,
like
okay.
just started to be in the main city place, whatever, the hub
Oh
city.
wow, so you're okay. So that's yeah,
I
that's
remember
basically the intro.
meeting a person and they were like upset about some, you know, market guild or whatever, and you go and like try to convince them, and I sort of turned on them and
Okay,
went
yeah.
with
So that's like
the core
yeah,
people.
you're like less than a fraction of a percent into the game. Okay, all
Yeah.
right, cool. That's cool. Yeah, I took a pause from it to play Remnant 2, which I'll get into later. But okay, yeah. Now would be an excellent time to get back into Cyberpunk, and the DLC is supposedly incredible. I only say supposedly because I have not played it, but every person whose opinion I would trust on the matter is like raves about the new like the new content. So now is definitely a good time to get into it. Also, they're done. This is it. They said this is the one DLC that they're gonna have for it, and they're patching up like they released version 2.0, and I think they just updated it to like 2.1. But they said as far as like major content, like that's it. They're done. Like the development on this game is over.
Well, aren't they moving on
So
to? I thought they split the studio and started Witcher 4.
yes, Witcher 4 is their next major project. There
Yeah.
is going to be a Cyberpunk 2, but I think that's very early stage. And Witcher 4 is their next big thing. That's what like
Uh,
70% of the
yeah.
studio is working
Yeah. I
on.
remember reading the article where they did that like split off or whatever.
Yeah, I got to replay Witcher 3 and because I should probably finish it. So that game is pretty awesome.
I never got into it and I want to. And then, but
It's
like,
really
there's a
good.
part of me that wants to, there's a completionist that wants to do one and two, which I never played.
No, no, skip them, especially one, two, two maybe two is okay.
But wasn't it
One
worth
is
content, like, story?
you just read what happened. One is both one and two play very differently from three, especially one. I don't think you're gonna enjoy one. One is just not a fun game to play. It has not aged. It does not hold up at all. I don't think you're gonna enjoy that thing at all.
All right.
It looks bad. It's bad. It's everything about it's pretty. Yeah, has not aged well. However, Witcher 3, they upgraded to like 4K or something like that. There's a free, if you own the game, it'll just automatically upgrade to like the next gen version of the game, which is pretty cool. So
That's cool.
Like visually, yeah, it looks way better now.
That would be cool. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, maybe that's on the list. I don't know when the fuck I'm gonna play all this stuff.
You're not. You're just not. You're just yeah. Sorry, I hate to say this, but we're not young anymore, Kevin. So let's.
I got just well, a lot of the time I'm like splitting my hobbies with like board games and role playing and that kind of shit too. So it's like.
Yeah, the only reason I get to play these a little more is because I have no friends here and I don't get to split anything. I just have to take care of a little person in the other room.
Well, that's another thing I'm sort of done with mostly.
Yeah, that's
there's
true.
No little kids in the house.
That must be nice. But yeah, Jerry, have you played anything? Tried anything? Download anything?
Nothing real. Honestly, like I've just recently went back to Minecraft. I loaded up the All the Mods 9 mod pack, and I've been having fun with that. But it's usually Minecraft, Factorio, or Stellaris, and I just cycled through those fucking 3 games.
That's pretty cool. I envy you, dude. I wish
play Stellaris.
Hmm?
I've been meaning to do some Stellaris, but
yeah,
it's one of those games I wanted to get into, but yeah, I just never had the time to do so. It looks great, just no time.
It changed so much from the beginning. It's crazy.
Also, the learning curve in that game is, jeez, oof.
Just gotta take it. I mean, you kind of pick. If you go slow, you get it as you're going, and your mind sort of develops as it grows more complex. You continue to keep like awareness of everything because you're building it and you're sort of there with it. Okay. So as long as you like understand your UI.
Well, that's the thing. Like, what little of it I played, the UI.
On. Yeah.
It's also the game. The problem with it also is like if you start playing it, you have to keep playing it because you can't like get away from a game like that for a while and come back to it. You're going to look at it and go, I have no idea where anything is.
Yeah. That's true.
So that's.
But I remember when I used to play it, I would find myself like in weekend long marathons to fucking play shit out of it. And you literally like kind of wake up at the end of the day like, holy shit, what just happened today? But those are fun sometimes. I don't really get into those much. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, by late game, you have all your like sector governors taking care of shit, and you're just like overlord of the whole thing. I love the way it transitions to macroscope like that.
Yeah.
Yes, I totally understood everything you just said. I too can relate to that story.
You start to delegate.
Join the dark
instead of, and like sometimes you dive it down into the micromanagement level, but they do a good job zooming out your galactic maintenance,
empire. You could be like, I want this sector or these systems, these planets. I want these to be like,
science
trade
special
goods, and this is science, and this is
one planet will inevitably be like the hub where you'll put like defensibles and whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm probably never gonna get into that game. Not because I don't want to, just I don't have time. Plus, new stuff keeps coming out. Like during the break, you mentioned that game that I told you guys about, the Once Human game. There's actually 2 games that I now want to try that I have no time, but I want to. There's Once Human, and then there's another one called Core Punk, which is really interesting. So Core Punk is probably the easiest one to explain. It's kind of like a bird's eye view game, similar to something like, I'm trying to think what it's similar to. It's an MMORPG, I think is the right way to describe it. So
like Warcraft
Yeah,
World
it's
of
a little bit.
Warcraft kind of thing?
It's a little bit like, yeah, World of Crafty, but it looks and plays kind of like League of Legends. I mean, you have the one character, but there's not like a map. It's a big, expansive world. But yes, it looks visually, the visual style looks like something like out of League of Legends. But yeah, it plays kind of like World of Warcraft, where you have your character and you do all this thing and you collect and you build and you fight other whatever the hell. But it looks kind of cool. Um,
Hmm.
and that's all I can really say about it. Honestly, you just have to kind of play it and try it out. And then once human, that's a weird one. That kind of came out of nowhere because, so what is it? Last week or 2 weeks ago? I guess it would have been no, 2 weeks ago. That game, the day before came out,
Mhm.
and that was like a whole mess of things. Like this was a game that was um, completely oversold by its developers as it's going to be like this open world MMORPG also, where you and other people are living in this like zombie filled world, and it's sort of like a little bit of a looter shooter, but you also like you all go out into this big shared world and you collect resources and you come back and you build your bases and blah 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 blah. And then the game came out, played like shit, it looked like shit, and it was not an
Isn't that the one that
MMORPG
went
at all.
bankrupt and like shut down in
Yeah.
5 days?
Well, it was a scam. Yeah, it went. Yeah, they released the game. It
It's a
wasn't at
great
all what
idea,
they
by the
promised.
way. Maybe they just didn't get enough funding, or they just had a poorly run situation.
No, it was a scam. They up to the day of the release, they were saying that it was a completely different game than what they released. It was all they did was they downloaded a bunch of assets from like the Unreal store and cobbled together this piece of shit like extraction shooter, which instead of an MMORPG thing where you're just always in this like open world, you just like load into a map, run around a mostly empty city with like nothing there, collect two or three things. Probably the game crashes or something breaks on you, and then
I
you
saw
just
a video
extract out
of
of that.
some streamer where like graphics were twitching out and
Yeah, the
like
giant.
expanding
Yeah,
off the screen and then flying
yeah,
off.
exactly. Yeah,
So,
it's
what I don't understand is how long were they running the scam? Like, how long was this game supposed to be? Or how long was this game known in air quotes to
so
be in production?
it was announced I think in 20, oh god, it was 2019 maybe, or 2018 or 2019, when they released like a trailer for it, which of course was had nothing to do with the game. Doesn't look anything like the trailer. um, and then they kept sort of putting up videos of supposedly like the game they were developing. Turned out all those videos were completely fake. None of that stuff is actually in the game. And again, the game is not what they said it was going to be. It's just a really janky little extraction shooter. The city is completely empty. The buildings you can't go into most of them. There, it's supposed to be an overrun world overrun by zombies. You might run into two or three zombies. They all look pretty much the same. The shooting is broken. The looting is broken. There's no melee
I mean,
combat.
are
So
you
if you run
sure
out of
this isn't
bullets,
just like some college kid that was trying a project and thought they had like, their shit together and failed? Or is it like,
no, no, no.
let's
This was a
let's
studio. No, this was
let's
legitimate.
so like they actually walked away with a lot of money and now their shit going down?
I don't
But how
know if they're
yeah,
gonna
how
walk
could that
away from
happen?
it.
Because it seems like if everyone gets a refund, like, Steam is probably like, "No, we're not going to pay you this money," and that's it.
So the game was wishlisted. I don't even know how many, like hundreds of thousands. It was the most wishlisted Steam game like of all time. So when it came out, they instantly sold hundreds of thousands uh, of this game, if not more. They made they made a few $1 million on the first day of release. So they're saying they're working with people to get refunds, but I mean, I don't
They're
know. I
they're
don't know how this
walking
is gonna
away with
work.
millions on like um a false
Maybe
advertisement type of situation. But how
I think
like when's the class action, you know?
I that's the thing. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be a kind of thing where whether it's something they get away with, or yeah, the legal system is going to basically catch up with them.
See,
I don't know.
I can't imagine they get, like, the the money credited to their bank as the I copies are sold.
I
So if they
can't.
did all this shit, like, 4 or 5 days after the game went on sale, Yeah, I don't think they'd be running away with millions of dollars in their
Oh,
pockets
why not?
laughing.
If
I do.
they get the hype high enough for pre-sales to happen,
There was no pre-sales.
absolutely.
It released in early access, and that's when it went on sale. It was a $40 game in early access. Um, it came out. People obviously like review bombed it because it was terrible. And then 4 days later, the thing that made it really suspicious is the fact they didn't say, okay, look, like they didn't do the No Man's Sky thing. They didn't go like, okay, look, we're sorry, like we messed up. Just we'll work on it. We'll keep patching it. They immediately said, okay, well we're out of money, so we're gone. And people are like, what do you mean you're out of money? You just got millions of dollars from selling this game. If you're the fact that they bailed immediately means it, of course, was a scam.
Yeah.
They released a statement and said we didn't make any money on this game, so we're closing down. They absolutely made money on it.
That's like saying they got a like a capital loan to pay
Right.
people, and they're like defaulting and now they have to pay it all back or whatever, or they, you
Right.
know what I mean, like they paid their workers and now they're behind whatever, and like
Right. So people are
so they
saying like, are they
decided to
gonna
just
like?
stop because they'll never make it.
Right. So I don't know if there's the people are saying all kinds
That's
of things
like
like,
the best case scenario, you know what I mean?
right.
Like the worst case is, and more likely is, it was all just to get some cash.
Yeah, it might have just been a cash grab, and people are saying like maybe they're gonna like hide the money that they made or a good chunk of it, and then declare bankruptcy and say like, oh no, we don't have it, and hide it abroad somewhere. I don't know, but um, their response to this whole thing has just been completely insane.
Hmm.
So, and the fact is, again, it comes down to the fact that they lied entirely about the game they were putting out. Like this was not something that was in development for years. This is something that was completely thrown together with bought assets and just thrown out there. So anyway, so while that was happening, another game came out called Once Human, and it flew a little bit under the radar because people were so pissed off about this thing. And Once Human actually is kind of the game that the day before is supposed to be. It is a huge open world MMORPG about it's not like a world overrun by zombies, but it's overrun by there's zombies in there too, but there's a whole bunch of like weird, like multi-dimensional and some of it like love like a little bit there's a little bit of Lovecraft in there as well. There's this weird like supernatural force that's like taken over the earth or whatever, and
But it's
you
like in
exist in it.
closed beta right now. There's They
So
didn't even
is
get that
they
many players.
no, actually just the opposite. What happened was they were an open beta, and I'm kicking myself for not fucking signing up for it because a few days after they had the open beta, they had so many people. They had something like 6 to 7 times more people
It
than
actually
they
talks about it
thought.
on when you sign up on their website.
Yeah,
They go
they
into it,
got
yeah.
yeah, they thought it would take them months to get the amount of beta players that they needed. They got them on like the first day, and then just added like once the streamers got a hold of it and they started hyping it up. Yeah, now you have to basically sit there and wait for the lottery. It is going to be a free to play game. It is going to come out of beta. I think I don't know if it's going to be this year, but relatively soon. The thing is, like, if you watch people play it, it's actually really polished. The only problems with that game now is there's the only glitches that are happening in the game are on purpose. They will tell you that they're stress testing the servers, so they purposely will try to like f up some of the sync issues just to see if it can handle that many players. But the game is pretty much complete, and it's supposed to play great. Every streamer that I follow that's been playing it is in love with this game, like everything for it. And thankfully, it wasn't overlooked, and people weren't like staying away from it because of what happened with the day before. They thankfully moved on and actually started trying like this game out. The only thing that people are saying you have to be careful for is um, it is it is a free to play game, which means there's obviously going to be microtransactions. Supposedly, it's only going to be cosmetic, but who actually knows what'll happen. And it's owned by a Chinese company, not Tencent, but the other one. I forget, but it's a company that's known for pretty predatory microtransactions. They're saying they're not going to be doing any of that, but again, it's just going to be a matter of time. Like we'll see like what happens when the game releases. But it looks freaking cool. Like watching people play it, it's really weird. There's some incredibly creative enemies and bosses.
It's
They
NetEase.
range netties, thank you. They range from like little tiny blobs that crabs made out of hands walking around the earth to like gigantic, almost like skyscraper like sized these like gods walking,
Oh,
like walking through the landscape. It's really
what's the
freaking cool.
premise?
I don't really know yet. I know there's some kind of like supernatural thing taking over the world, and
Mhm.
it's sort of like you can sort of like you have like some kind of weird. If you look at the gameplay, you'll see like everyone's running around with like a backpack, and inside that backpack is like a weird like creature or butterfly kind of flapping around, and that gives you some kind of power that
Hmm.
you can like turn on some kind of weird vision that shows you like where the monsters are or something like that. Um,
I mean, it's a
I think
post-apocalyptic
I have
world,
some
so there's all
gummies
kinds
that
of
would do
weird
that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. It is
stuff.
supposed to. Yes, yeah. It is supposed to be like after some event happened and basically like wiped out like most of humanity and whatever. So
Is this just like a, looter shooter, or do you like build a base? Like you say it's
yes,
an MMO, so like what
yes, you do
other?
that. It's all that. It is a looter shooter. It's a craft. You craft. You build. Yes, you collect resources. All that shit. Yes, you level your character up. Like you do in those games. Um, there's so far only like a couple of vehicles I think you can use, but there's gonna be a bunch more of those, et cetera, et cetera. There is PvP, but it's opt in. So you can
Oh,
go to
okay.
areas where
Yeah.
there's other players running around, but nobody can just like randomly shoot you. You have to opt
Right.
into PvP. Um, so yeah,
Sounds
like,
interesting.
and yeah, I think when it comes out of beta, I'll definitely give it a
It
try.
sounds pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, it's free. What do you got to lose except possibly your credit card and your identity
And
to
I'm such a
subscribe
fucking
with it?
sucker for like clothing and aesthetics. God damn.
Oh, you are. Oh, see, I am so fortunate that
Dude, it's
I
so
never
bad.
understood. I never understood the draw of spending real money
'Cause it's to look
on
cool.
for who?
I mean, you're playing a game
So
style that you like to play, so you keep reskinning it and it feels
You're not going to
like
be. Here's the thing. You're not going to explain to me. People have tried. It makes no sense to me. I totally understand if you're playing like a game and you earn a piece of like cool looking armor and you're like, oh dude, I just killed that dragon, I get a cool armor. But I just spent $7 to get
Wait,
like
wait, wait, wait,
a,
wait. Hold
a,
on. Hold
a
on.
hat. What?
If I were to reskin Wingspan, I bet you would fucking love it.
We talked about this. Yes, probably.
Right.
What's your point?
So sometimes you like get into a game like this, right? And you let's say like a particular character and you're like, "Oh shit, if that was Spider-Man, that would be fucking awesome." Just because it's like whatever skin. I mean, that's what Fortnite makes all its fucking money off of.
Well, yes, that is, but the wingspan thing is different. The wingspan would mean changing the entire theme of the game. It's like saying, "Oh, hey, I would love Starfield if it was, about ninjas." Like
oh
that
wow,
shit.
Ninja Field.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be a completely different game. You're talking about like, oh man, I'm running around with like a brown hat. I wish I had a green hat. There's a green hat and it's only $10. Great. Like that I will never understand. And I'm not trying to shame people that spend money on skins. I sort of understand it. What I'm saying is to me it has zero
To
appeal.
me, it's
I've
about
never
like
seen a
theme. Like let's say
yeah, I
sci-fi versus medieval or whatever. Obviously,
yeah, that's
they tend to be,
right.
like versions of a character more like fashion. That's kind of different. And I'm not so much like I don't care about brown versus green hat stuff most of the time. It's more like a change in the character theme that
Well,
I
yeah.
tend to
Oh,
spend money on.
if it's a theme, yeah, I could guess I could see that. But again, I wouldn't like spend real money on it. If anything, I would grind it out maybe, but I can't
It
imagine.
it it's all about the Kevin score. So like if those games get into the 300 hours, what do I, and it was $30, that's already like a 10 on the ratio. What's a
Yeah, so I could see
I
that.
play
Yeah,
the game. I'm like, oh, this is one of my best games. Maybe like I'll give them a tip.
yeah,
Like
that's a
that's kind of
perfectly
how I
reasonable way
feel
to look
about
at
that
it.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. So, yeah, people who play like
I've
hundreds
done
of
that
hours
too.
of Fortnite
Yeah.
and buy like a
Fucking
Spider-Man
Gems of
skin, and
War
they're
had me for a
yeah,
year on a
Yeah.
daily commute to work schedule. I literally
Hmm.
would fucking spend an hour. Well, I would go pick up a breakfast sandwich and eat in my car while I played Gems of War for like a half an hour, and then I would drive to work.
Yeah, it
oh,
was a good one.
It was my
yeah.
commute.
Yeah. I mean, I spent unfortunately a bunch of hours playing like Marvel Snap, and there's plenty of ways to spend
Yes.
money on that game
Uh-huh.
to buy
Right.
like cool looking comic cards. But I don't why no one will
League
ever
of
see them but
Legends, I
me.
spent a ton of money on.
Oh God, you poor soul. Yeah. No, I just again, I not trying to shame anybody, just not for me.
it
There's just something about it about like finding for me it's just way more interesting to
The problem with those
find
games
stuff in the
are
game.
it's like you do spend. I actually know somebody who spends thousands of dollars but plays a game continue like just always like loves it. And it's like at a certain point there's that really extreme situation like your reaction is probably informed by is like, you know, even if you spent $60 on a game is still like a certain level of your life. Like, why would you ever spend more than, $60 on a game ever?
Right.
DLCs are like quasi exceptional, but to go into like 300 or thousands of dollars over the course of a couple of years,
Yeah.
it's sneaky, but it's like it's not like you dumped 60. It felt like a game kept changing enough to for you to spend another 60, but what most of those games work off of are psychological habit builders. There's a
Yeah.
psychology to it. There's actually
Oh
like a
yeah, of course.
science behind this. So
Yeah,
what's
of course.
happening
I
is
think
it's
we're in the
habitual.
wrong field here.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
No, and you could like study it and build a game around it because it's still this
Oh, I believe it.
quasi, yeah,
Yeah.
it's still like it's like gambling science, like
No,
go
it is. That's
spend,
exactly what it
yeah,
is.
yeah,
That's what it preys on. It preys the
exactly,
gambling into yeah.
exactly. So microtransactions are that gray area between the games that are sort of like, that get under the radar and aren't too too thumbs down too much, but enough to like have a draw effect. And the magic number is like I, I used to do like family entertainment centers with all those ticket machines, and there's like a
Mhm.
percentage that's like the sweet spot that doesn't piss anybody off but brings in money.
Yeah. Well,
It's like
there you go.
28% or something like that.
Yeah, in the countries that banned
Mhm.
certain kinds of microtransactions, specifically loot boxes, did it because they said this is nothing but gambling and it feeds into the gambling addiction. It's
Yeah.
harmful to everybody and it involves in many cases children or young people.
Mhm.
So this is absolutely ridiculous.
The problem is about the young people because they don't have until you're like 25, you haven't built in
There you
your
go.
own what?
Here we go. Here comes the young people today. They don't
Mhm.
understand. Like they're
No,
buying.
no, I'm not
No,
talking
he's
about
just
that. I'm
saying
talking
they
about
don't have
biological
defenses against it.
development.
I know. It just sounds like whenever we get into one of those, it always sounds like young people today. Oh, they're buying hats instead
I
of
know.
bread.
No, but I don't mean I'm not saying it in any kind of derogatory
I know you
way.
were trying to
It's
direct their way,
it's
right?
more of
I know.
a scientific like biological development way, and it has to
Yeah,
do with like, regulation and all that, nervous system regulation.
yeah. No, I get it. No, I mean young people do suck. Don't get me
And
wrong.
I don't
Well,
Yeah,
nervous
terrible
it's
system
twos
regulation.
is a
Blah, blah,
huge
blah.
moment in a child's life where they shift from like um you know oh I mean it's whatever. There's all kinds of science behind that shit. It's fascinating to me now, but I can't begin to
right,
articulate it all well.
right. Cool. Okay. Well,
Hmm.
yeah.
Plus, that's a huge
Uh,
tangent.
yeah. I was just gonna slowly find a
One
way to work
back to Once Human.
into
Now
Remnant 2.
I'm interested in Once
Oh,
Human. That's
well, yeah, sign up for the beta. That's what I did. I don't know. They
I won't
basically
do
have a
it.
lottery
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
they
I have
said
a tab open, but I'm
I think every week or every whatever they hand out 3,000 new
select top.
keys or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw some text about that.
Yeah. So while I wait for that, I'm playing the shit out of Remnant 2. That is a game you have to try. I think I already mentioned this off stream, but God, I'm really
Is
pissed
it
off that
one with
I
I
waited.
downloaded it.
metal
I just have to play it.
dinosaurs or something?
No, no,
Or
no, no.
no?
Exo Primal. You're thinking of a different game.
Okay.
No, Remnant 2 is amazing.
And
So
Monster Hunter?
people, oh, maybe thinking of Monster Hunter. Remnant 2 was the one. So people, the first Remnant game, people classified it as like Dark Souls with guns, and this second one kind of got the same treatment as far as like when people talk about it. But that's totally underselling the game. Because Jerry, I know you don't have no interest in like Dark Soul kind of games. This is not anything like Dark Souls.
Is it
I
like
don't
precision
think it's fair to
control,
call.
like your choice of movement dictates whether you like actively get hit or not and like get shots off at
No,
the right spot?
no, it doesn't have any of that. So, like, when you play Dark Souls games, like, yeah, you're talking
Yeah.
about, like, you kind of dial in your attack. So, like, once you commit to something, you pretty much have to wait for that thing to finish. And there's, like, this sort of, like, timing that you have to work out with everything.
Yeah.
There's, like, there's a little bit of that in this game, just as far as, like, the difficulty spikes are concerned. But overall, this game controls and plays completely different. It is way more okay, it's still a very hard game, but it is way more forgiving than any Dark Souls games that I've played. There's uh, a difficulty selector. You could make it harder if you want to, but if you play on just like the base one, um, I'm not saying that
It's
like you'll
generally real
fly
time,
over the
right?
thing.
Like you click your power and like attack in a
Yeah,
direction and whatever.
yeah, yeah. You don't feel like you're again not in Dark Souls where you're like, oh crap, I just
Yeah,
did like a whole wind up thing and like yeah,
yeah,
missed
now I'm
those
gonna
key
get
frame.
hit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or I didn't dodge at the
Um,
right second to avoid the full 1 minute swing at you.
Hmm.
Yeah, you definitely get that thing that I thought Elden Ring did well, where the game naturally you just run into a brick wall where you're like, okay, I am under leveled for this part of the game. Now it's not an open world, but it does do something really interesting. So you have your home base, and then from this base you can enter any one of I think there's 5 worlds, um, and the worlds are procedurally generated. So when you go into them, you can re-roll the worlds, and there is a different map every single time. So like the environment remains the same, but you're basically just going into just think of it almost like you're transported to like a different part of that world.
Hmm.
So the map constantly shifts. What is also cool and is that the same worlds have different like biomes or areas. So, for example, there's one world that's reminiscent of it looks kind of like an old London kind of thing. It almost looks like Bloodborne. Like like those old English things where everything's like dark and you got people with top hats and they look like vampires or whatever
Jack
running
the
around.
Ripper-esque.
Yeah, but then sometimes you go into this world and instead of being out into these dingy streets of London, you'll be like in this like medieval castle, for example. You'll be wandering over there. And same thing with like all of them. So even though you're in the same world and it has like some of the same elements, like there's a relationship between the places, it is a completely different like area. So the game is basically again, it's not an open world, but it's an endless like world. It's an endless um amount of content for you to explore
Sure.
to the
But are
point
you
where it,
describing like different skinned same maps, or it's still procedurally generated maps? Like, is it random
um
left and right turns and
it yeah
interactions?
the tiles change basically. So like there's a world called I think I'm mispronouncing it. I think it's called Yesha. It's like the forest world. So when you go into it, when you first go into it, there's like where you first enter, and then you go down this pathway, and then there's like a field, and then over there's like a river. The next time you go in, or the next time you like re-roll the world, you'll go in, and you're looking at a completely like it's still a forest world, but it looks like a completely different section of it. Things aren't where they were before. The enemies are in different places. There's sometimes different enemies there. Um, The boss is in a whole different part of the map.
Oh, okay.
Um,
That's cool.
yeah. And there's sometimes different bosses. You can also go into these worlds in different order, which influences the story. So there's all different ways that the story could branch out, not only guided by the fact that you might explore them in a different order, but there's also choices you make along the way. Like you'll meet like this one guy who'll be like, "Hey, go into this other world and kill this other king." And you can choose to kill the other king, or you can choose to kill this king, or you can choose to kill both, and that changes how your story progresses.
Hmm.
There's a ton of
Sounds
hidden
awesome.
shit. Yeah, there's a ton of like really cool hidden shit. You play as and so there's archetypes. So you basically start in the beginning. I think you start with a choice of like four. There's like a healing, like there's like a healer one. There's like a tank. There's like a sniper, and then there's one called a handler who has a dog. That's obviously one of the more popular ones because you get a dog. And then you can find and unlock up. I think there's a total of 11, and some of them are incredibly hard to find. They get like really advanced. There's like these cool like sorcerers and like weird like invader classes. But what's really cool is that when you start playing as an archetype, you get like your set of, a couple of moves, you get your special skills and a bunch of other things. When you get to a certain level, you can unlock the second archetype. So you can, for example, be like a healer and a handler. You can be like a tank and a handler, and you can combine them and switch them in any which way you want. And that sort of
So
determines the
there, it's
skills
like
that
forces dual classing, which puts
yeah,
combos.
yes, and your combos and skills change as you do, and it also depends which one is your primary and which one is your secondary. It's awesome. It is just such an insanely fun freaking game. Like I cannot put it down.
It
Um,
sounds like it has awesome
yeah,
character development, which
it does.
I
Oh,
love.
another thing, the bosses are phenomenal. These are like the best bosses ever in an action game. They are so creative. Every boss is completely different. There's the first game, as good as the first game was, one of the criticisms they got was that the bosses were just basically bullet sponges, and they were kind of like they weren't samey, but they weren't that interesting. Just you walk into a room, there's a big something or rather, it's very powerful, it hits you, it shoots you, whatever, blah blah blah. These bosses are I like you have to really play it to appreciate it. They really do take a while to figure out. There's unless you're very over leveled or just very good, there's almost no chance you could ever beat any of them on the first like a couple of tries. You really, really have to sort of like figure out, like for example, like one of the first bosses you face, one of the first bosses you can face, depending on which world you go into first, is this thing called what the fuck is it? I think it's called the Legion. So it's this guy that sits on like there's this big room and there's this guy that sits on a throne, and above him is like this big kind of like portal evil eye Sauron looking thing. And the only way to damage him is when this eye opens. But if you're looking at the eye, all of a sudden you get a madness meter. So basically, if you're looking at it, your character is losing his sanity, and it completely fucks with your game, and like there's all this crazy shit that starts happening. But the only way you can damage him is by looking straight at him. So you have to manage like your like madness meter. You have all these other like smaller enemies that are attacking you from the sides. You have obviously the guy on the throne like shooting you and shit like that. And like it took me not long. I'd say maybe like 10 tries to get past them, but it's such a awesome like
It sounds
mechanic when
like
you
a
play.
lot of
They got creative with that
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, one of the best bosses they have, and I mean, I don't know if I want to spoil. There's like 30 bosses, so I think this is sort of. I'm not going to spoil it entirely, but there's a boss that's basically a maze. You're in this gigantic rock maze of like tunnels and pathways, and
So
the
it's like
the maze.
it's intestine.
No. It's just it looks like a Roman almost thing. Like there's just stone walls. It's just a giant
Roman
maze.
almost thing.
Oh, I thought you were
Well, I
describing the
guess
boss is the maze itself.
yes, the boss is the maze itself. There's things that roll these big blocks which change the layout of the maze and also rolling through it that and they can kill you. So as you're trying to navigate your way through the maze is actively trying to kill you as well. Like it's so you have to find like certain spots to shoot to disable these things that are moving throughout the
That
maze.
was in Dungeons and Dragons.
Except it's
The movie.
not. There's not. Right. It's not there's no creatures in there. The maze like folds in on you. Like yeah. It's pretty nuts. Like yeah.
That does sound awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool things. There's one boss that
how am I gonna play all these games? Fuck.
there's one boss that is basically this big central thing that you have to kill, but there's also a gigantic rock golem that's chasing you around, trying to kill you. And it's cool. Like if you destroy the boss but you don't kill the rock golem, you get like some cool items. There's a lot of like hidden shit. There's a lot of stuff like really like to be found in this game. Some of it is great, some of it is completely insane. Like there's one area of the map where if you set off this like water trap and get the water level to rise, and it's really hard to notice. Like the water rises ever so slowly. I think it takes like 108. What does it take? 90 minutes or 180 minutes of real time. But if you actually just put your controller down and leave and come back in like 180 minutes, the water would have risen to a certain level where you can now swim up there and get into this hidden area and get like this really rare weapon that you can't like find anywhere else. It's full of shit like that. There's really great puzzles where you find items and you have to like examine them and turn them upside down, and there'll be like something written on them or something like something will fall out of them if you turn them. It'll give you access to a different part of the map. It's just endless. Anyway, it's awesome.
Crazy.
And the thing is like you can do any of those things or none of those things. You don't want to deal with puzzles? Don't. It's fine. You'll just won't find some of the items in the game. You don't want to fight some of these bosses? Don't. Just go to a different world and progress the story from a completely different angle.
It's like, fuck this boss. I'm going somewhere else instead.
Yeah, that's exactly what you do. Like when I told you about that king that tells you to go kill like the other king, you can just say, fuck it, I don't want none of this. I'm going somewhere else. Like you guys fucking like you guys figure this shit out.
I'm gonna go to one of the other 3 worlds.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So it's awesome.
If you like progress like 5 times and then come back, do they like you fucking left and never got back to me?
I don't know. I haven't gotten that far, but I will say some of the NPCs or characters, they will react to you that way. If you don't do something they want you to and come back to them, they will. Some of them will get pissed off and just attack you. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad I installed it.
Yeah.
I better play it before it's off Game Pass.
If you do start playing it, if you have any questions, just ask me, because some of the stuff is pretty obvious, but some of it is not. Like choosing your class. So just so you know ahead of time,
I'm gonna the way you described it, I might have to go look up a guide, because I like to play a certain sort of long game.
Yeah, you should do a beginner's guide
and starting over.
Yeah, because you can then figure out how to attain the other archetypes, because the way you get them, you obviously pick your first one, but the way you earn the other ones is you like the base 4 ones, like I said, the healer, the sniper, the tank guy, and the handler. There's NPCs at your base. All you do is after you collect enough currency, you buy like an item from one of the merchants that represents that class, and then you take it to this one guy, and he like fashions it into like this amulet thing, and then you equip it, and you become that class.
Sure, it's a little quest.
Yeah, like to get like the handler, for example, you find this guy, this farmer guy, not farmer, he's like this old dude with that hat. He sells you like a dog whistle. You take this dog whistle to this other character, and he makes like this amulet for you and now you can equip like the handler class. Right. So they all have like a special sort of like a token that you find that you can find in the world that represents that archetype.
So it's all RPG unlocking. Like you have to do the quest to find.
Yeah, and some of them are completely they're really hard to find. One of them, this is truly this is awesome. Somebody data mined the first game. I don't know why, but they did it back in the day. So they hid a class where some dude data mined the second game, found some weird code that they didn't understand, spent like a week like decoding it or something like that, I don't know, just something completely fucking insane that took like a week to do. And again, keep in mind this is
I feel
started
like I
by
saw a video that was talking about this.
yeah. I might have sent it to you. And after like a week of like decoding all this crap, he found a token inside the code that gave him like this really rare archetype and it was the only way to get it. So like they did it basically as a you know
A
as like an
nod
Easter
to
egg.
the
An
data
ode to the
mining.
Yeah.
hackers. Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Like you have to hack the game in order to find this other class. Yeah.
That's cool.
I've
And they already
heard
have
of
a
games
DLC out
doing
for it.
silly stuff like that.
Yeah.
Really?
There's one DLC that introduces one more. Well, they say only one more archetype, but the people are saying there's more hidden in there that you can find. And the DLC is supposed to be really good too.
But when you do like just enough like mystery and then propagate it, that's the best kind of like exploration experience that you can find in a game like this, which
Yeah, you
really
want to.
is the draw.
Yeah, you want to explore. Yeah, that's the thing. It makes you want to explore it. When you find a couple of things, it does feel rewarding, and it's not like I'm not bored poking into every corner of this world. It doesn't feel like a task. It's not like a job. Like I want to. I'm like, oh, what's
You're
over there? Oh,
actually
what's over
exploring,
there?
and you
Yeah,
could actually find
yeah,
something that no one else has found, or
yeah.
whatever.
Yep. Cool. Very, very highly recommended.
Yeah, I
I'm
might
gonna
have to
try
check it out.
Yeah. So, and sorry, just as a small tangent, you said like some developers do that. Did you guys see how what Valve did with the Dota 2 players they wanted to get rid of? Did you read about this?
No.
Okay,
What?
so this is cute. So every year, Dota has. If you're not familiar with Dota, Dota is like Valve's version of League of Legends. It's
Yeah,
what do you call it? What are those games
a
called?
MOBA.
Yeah, MOBA. Um, what they did is they identified a bunch of cheaters and a bunch of toxic players. And what happened is every year they have like a winter event. I don't know what it's called, but it's the winter snowathon, whatever. When you log into the game, you get a special like gift or item um, for participating in this event. So the reason people find out about it is because there was a streamer that plays this game a lot, and he's a very toxic piece of shit. So he actually logged into this event on his Twitch stream, and there waiting for him was like, "Oh, thank you for logging in to the event. Here's your event gift." He opens it up, and it's a piece of coal. It's the coal of like toxicity, and it basically like under it says in not so many words, basically says you're a toxic piece of shit. You're not welcome in this game, and bans him for life.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah.
Boy, that was funny. That must have been funny on a stream.
Yeah, because the guy's so confused. He's like, "Oh, cool! Like, they sent me a gift," and he opens it up, and it just says, "Like, here's a piece of coal. You're an asshole. You're banned from Dota for life." And he's like, "Wait, what? What is happening now?" And sure enough, as soon as he closes that window, the thing is like, "You're logged out. Can't get back in. You're gone. That's it."
Oh my
So
god.
that's how they banned everybody this year by sending
Wow,
them a piece of coal.
that is some advertising. Like, how many articles went out after people
A lot, yeah.
realized that happened and gave, how they could have gained popularity.
Yeah, a lot, especially since a few, like I said, asshole streamers got banned as a result, and it was all caught live. It's cool. The thing is, they weren't even mad. The people that got banned live were just like, we're actually like applauding it. They're like, that's fucking creative. That is really well done. So, yeah, that was cool.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's really it for me for games. I have not tried Dead Space yet.
Plus, we're hitting.
Which is on the list, but I need to get back into the Dead Space remake. Yeah, I'll get to it at some point. But yeah, Jerry, try Remnant 2.
Yeah, I think I might have to install that.
You're always the hardest person to convince to get it. If you don't want to pay a lot, just go on that Aniba website and just buy it there.
That's a horrible pain in the ass.
All right, to just get Game Pass.
Remember what region you have to set your VPN to play this particular game, or
no, well,
it doesn't work like that.
No, you would actually.
You
It's
can
not,
either
but
get a
you would.
US version straight out, or you VPN
Yeah,
to
for
buy, but then to activate, but then you're fine. You don't never need the VPN after that, right?
yeah, but if you're gonna buy it for Steam, I would say don't do the VPN thing. Steam is pretty succinct in the fact that they will ban you if you do that VPN shit, and they're not gonna send you a piece of coal. You're just gonna get a message that says you redeem this game by using a VPN, your Steam account has been deleted, and you will lose everything in your Steam account. It says it very
Jesus.
clearly. They're like, we're not giving you refunds, you're getting nothing. You will lose everything. Goodbye.
Oh
So
God, you can
so
imagine.
for Steam, I would say there's a US version and there's a global version. Either one of those will work fine, but they're still cheaper than I think what they're going for on Steam.
Mm.
It's a legit site with legit keys. It's just the only thing I use the VPN thing for is for Xbox, because honestly, like, if the worst thing will happen, I'll lose all my Xbox stuff. Whatever.
Mhm. I'll
Anyway,
have to try it out.
yeah. So yeah, that's my game stuff. I'm done yammering. Is there anything else you guys want to cover before we wrap it up? Since we're approaching 3 hours again.
I don't
Not-
think so.
Not
Nothing
really.
I could.
The rest of the stuff here is sort of I don't really know about it.
Oh well, let's not talk about it then. Oh, but check out that. But seriously though, in addition to number two, definitely check out Core Punk. That does look pretty cool, and Once Human.
Yeah.
Those again, if you
I
can
think
get
I
into the beta.
looked at Core Punk like a few weeks ago, but Once Human is actually really kind of neat. Or Remnant 2 sounded awesome.
Yeah, Remnant 2 is amazing. Yeah. But Once Human is definitely something. If I get into the beta, I definitely want to give it a try. It's just the feedback that the Twitch people have been playing it has been really really positive. Not just like
yeah. We'll
not just
start
like
playing that, and then like Path of
no.
Exile 2 will come out. And
Well, Path of Exile is like 2 years away. So you got plenty of time for that. I've actually pretty much stopped playing Path of Exile because now that I've seen, you can find for Path of Exile they've been demoing some of the classes that they're gonna have, and Path of Exile 2 is just on a whole nother level. Like I can't play Path of Exile 1 anymore because I'm like, it's good, but god damn, Path of Exile 2 looks incredible.
Yeah.
Like I don't wanna invest more like I can't. Like they've ruined Path of Exile
You
for
gotta
me.
save it up for it. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, even though it's like 2 years away at least. But
That's funny.
yeah.
You get
look up.
spoiled, and now you don't want to play the original.
Yep.
Yeah. If you have a minute, look up Path of Exile like mercenary class, and I think they also previewed I forget, like the barbarian and the hunter or something like that. Just look up the Path of Exile 2 class demos, and that game looks fucking
They're not
awesome.
doing like the universal growth skill chains.
Oh, they are. Oh. They're it's still going to be a nightmare progression system. But the game is going to be more action based. So right now it's just kind of like
point and click.
like most of those games where it's point and click. It's not.
Yeah.
There's going to be it's going to have WASD movement, and it's going to be more like action oriented. So things like moving around the map, dodging, weaving, aiming, stuff like that is going to play a more integral role in playing. It's not just click on enemy to kill anymore. So it's cool. Anyway, so yeah,
give it a little changeover.
Yeah.
All right, so
yeah. So that's it for me. So if you guys, like I said, if you guys don't have
2.5 hours
anything,
without the break.
Yeah, I think we can safely wrap it up. Anybody got some cool closing thoughts? I promised Jerry in the beginning that there'd be some positive thinking going on at the end of this episode.
I was just gonna say, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. See you on the other side, 2024.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, I can.
2024 was a good year.
You mean it will be a good year, but okay. See, the simulation's glitching again.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's coming from like what is it, 2076 or whatever the fuck it was.
65.
Yeah, the Kevin already went into the past and got his eye surgery done.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
Oh, you had to
So-
leave on that
He's
note.
got
Fucker.
20 by beep boop bop vision.
People.
Yeah, no, that sounds pretty good. I mean, thank you for leaving. Thank you for skipping right over Hanukkah, you bastard. But yeah,
Oh yeah,
Summer-
sorry.
summer-
I thought they finished that.
oh, I don't know. I'm a terrible Jew. I have no idea. Somebody wished me happy Hanukkah, and my reply was just like, "That's today." They're like, "No, it was yesterday, actually." But all right. So yeah, I'm bad at that. But yes, there you go. Happy holidays. Let's we're almost done with this year. No one do anything, please. There's just a
Dear
little
God.
bit left. Please just calm down for like a couple more weeks.
2024 is
Yeah.
going to be such a shit show.
Yeah, next year is
Yeah, it
gonna
is.
be election
it's
year.
so fucking bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not looking to next year at all. 24 is ugh.
Yeah, sorry for being sarcastic before. I
Yeah.
apologize. It was supposed to be upbeat.
Yeah.
The wine
Oof.
has like a slight tinge to it.
Nice.
So much toxicity in the world.
Yeah. Oh, wait till next year. Oh God. Oh, Jerry.
That's what I'm
damn
talking
it.
about. I'm
No,
Yeah.
referring retroactively to
Yeah, I
I
know.
want my
2024.
mommy. I
Yeah.
want my mommy.
Start rocking.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, there you go. That's my positive thought. Next year, stay off social media. All of it. Just do not use social media. Don't.
Don't listen to
TikTok
the
will be the real
news.
news.
Don't.
No,
Don't even do
that is
that.
no, that is the God damn it, Kevin.
Just lock yourself in a closet with no
Yeah.
external sources and
Yeah.
for the whole year.
Just get an RV with solar panels and a electric generator, and you can live off
Yeah.
the land.
I'm very close.
Setting rabbit
I'm
traps.
I am talking my wife into that almost every single day.
We bought an RV, so we're good to go. See you later, fuckers.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, just sit in a hole until November 7th. Is it November 7th? Is that when voting is? Yeah, just sit in a hole till November 7th. That's when it is. Come out, vote, go back in your hole, and wait for the horrible fallout that is absolutely going to happen at the end of next year. I'm not even worried about, you know what, as bad as like everything leading up to it will be, and it is going to be horrible. But after the next election, oh God, oh my God, it's going to be so bad. Next winter is a hellhole. This might be the last New Year we're celebrating.
It's gonna be pivotal.
Seriously. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. All right. So on that note,
at 1111 East Coast time.
Mommy.
Yeah. Everybody have a good night. I don't know if we're gonna be back next. What is next Monday?
We're ending soon, is what we're doing.
Yeah. Next
Next
Monday is Christmas.
So yeah, next Monday's Christmas, and then New Year's. So hungover.
I doubt. Yeah, it's probably going to be a couple of weeks till we come back again. Realistically speaking, unless, I mean, if you guys want
probably do whatever on New Year's Day, but
no
guarantees.
No,
not Christmas.
Oh no, I can give you a guarantee. For the January 1st, I am not to be bothered.
Yeah,
I will not be conscious. So see
All right.
See everybody on the 2nd. All right,
See you on the
gentlemen.
2nd.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Happy holidays.
This has been a production of
It's just me.
Studios.